when you walk, what you say, when you talk, when you go, when you walk, what you say, when you talk.
It's a hungry world out there, with everybody scrambling to get a share. Wolf in sheep clothing.
Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, and everyone of you listening in Radio Land. I am CJ, and this is Real FM 91.9 and 91.5. We are broadcasting from Main Street Sitters in historic St. Patrick's. Good morning.
Morning, CJ.
How are you?
Morning to the nation. I'm good.
Good.
And you?
I'm all right, thank you.
All right.
I'm alive, I'm breathing.
God.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Father, thank you this morning because we can come to a great and awesome God, a God who does not condemn us, but he encourages us to come boldly before his throne of grace that we can find mercies and find help in need. We thank you, God, because you are a refuge and strength. You are a present help in time of trouble. And God, when we think of our refuge, it's a place of safety and security that we can, we can come to you. You are a protector, you are a shield, you are a buckler, you are a rock of safety. We can run to you. And God, this morning we thank you because there is no boundary, there is no distance between us and you. There is no boundary and there is no distance in prayer. You are everywhere. Sometimes we think you are so far-fetched from us that we cannot see or even comprehend with our human mind. But God, you are everywhere. You are omnipresent. You are everywhere. You are omnipotent. You know everything. You are all-seeing. You are all-wise, God. And there's nothing that can be hidden from you. So this morning, even as we come, we want to thank you for being that refuge, being that strong, that rock and that strong tower for us, Lord, where we can hide ourselves in you, where we can come to you. We thank you for that access and that liberty you have made through the blood of Jesus Christ, so we can come. We don't have to go through a priest or a pastor, but we can have that direct communication with you because you have made it possible through the cross, where we can come and talk to you just as we would talk to a friend. We can make our desires known, our burdens and all our cares, and you encourage us in your word to cast all our anxiety, all our cares upon you because you cared for us. You remind us in your word, be not anxious for anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let our requests be made known unto you. And then the peace of God which passeth all understanding shall keep our hearts, guard our hearts and mind in Christ Jesus. So we thank you because there is that liberty and that boldness where we can come. And you said we can go into our closet and talk to our God in secret. And the Lord will see in secret will reward us openly. And sometimes he said we must not be like the hypocrites, like to make long prayers. They think we will be heard of men. But God, you are giving us the recipe that we can come with a penitent heart and just smote upon our breast, even as that man in the temple when he was being condemned. He said, Lord, be merciful to me, a sinner, Lord. We don't know what the situation might be this morning for some of us, Lord. But we are praying that, God, you will help us to draw nigh to you. And you said you will draw nigh to you. Seek me. And he said when we seek after you with our whole heart, we shall find you. He said ask and keep on asking. Knock and keep on knocking. And seek and keep on seeking. So, God, we have the recipe there in your word that we can talk to you at any time. But God, you said our sins and our iniquities sometimes separate us between you and our God. And God, you sometimes turn your face. But God, you want to hear our hearts when we say, God, I'm sorry. I repent. I sorry for the wrong things I would have done. And forgive me. Even as I come this morning to bring my supplication to you, I pray that my heart will be clean and I'll be in right stead with you so you can hear my prayer, Lord. Father God, we're not tired of asking you on behalf of our nation. We're not tired of asking you on behalf of our families. We're not tired of asking you on behalf of our community, our parishes, our village. We're not tired of asking you on behalf of our children, the youthful population of our nation, oh God. This morning we want to bring them before your throne of grace, Lord. Sometimes I look at them and I say it's like a generation that forget God, you know. They don't have the fear of God, the knowledge of God in before their eyes, Lord. But I pray today, Lord God, somehow, somewhere, in some situation, you would get their attention, Lord. You will help them to know that they can have a full life. They can realize their destiny, their purpose, why you put them here on the earth. They not just go through life aimless and not knowing what, what. But God, when they seek you first and your kingdom, and all other things will be added unto you. And God, I pray that the recipe begins with asking and seeking you. Lord, I just continue to pray that you'll bring a consciousness in our hearts, ever conscious of you. We aspire to be as one people, Lord. You bring a consciousness of God will be in our nation. A consciousness of God will be in our homes, in our communities, in our churches, in our institution, Lord. Continue to pray, Lord, for your peace among us, Lord. We see there's so many wars and tumult that's happening among us. We see what have happened within the last couple of days in our country, Lord. And Father, Lord, we do not want to be silent. We don't want to be just thinking as go about our merry way as if nothing is happening, Lord. We see the powers of darkness are being unleashed on our country through murders and gang violence and gun violence and so on. God, Father, we just asking you for your mercy. We're asking you, Lord, that people would find different channels of resolving problems, whatever situation might confront them, Lord. They'll be able to look to you and God to be able to get, that redress that they will so rightfully need instead of taking someone else's life. But Lord, our lives are valuable because you said if you consider the birds of the field, they don't toil, they don't eat, they don't gather into barns, they don't provide for themselves. But God, you feed them, you clothe them, and you said not one of them fall to the ground except you allow it to happen. Even when our little bird died, God, you allow it. And God, we're thinking that our lives are much more important as human beings. Our lives are more valuable to you, Lord. And then when we see things happening like that, God, we wonder. And Father God, today I pray for the peace and security of our country. I pray for the Royal Grenadier Police Force as their task is great, trying to solve so many of these homicides that have happened. Some are still unsolved. And God, we pray for good lead. We pray for us of the country will be good citizens. We will be able to help. I know sometimes people have information, but they are fearful. They are fearful for their own lives and so on because sometimes they think there's no confidentiality and so on. But God, I pray for those who are committing these hideous crimes that, Lord, you would trouble them. Some people conscience, the Bible says, said with an iron. Sometimes we do things, we hold things inside us, and we know we have done wrong, but we're never willing to come out from under covers and associate with the wrong we do. You see, there's no peace to the wicked, Lord, and I pray that, Lord, you will trouble those hearts, you will trouble those consciences that have those information and those who would have committed these crimes. And Lord, you would give them no rest, no peace until they surrender. They walk in and say, yes, I was responsible for that. I did that, or I was privy to that. God, today we pray that you would find them. They cannot hide. They can hide from man, but they cannot hide from you, God. We pray that you would expose them, oh God, and bring them into open light that they can pay for their deeds or their acts, Lord. I continue to pray for the peace and security of our nation. It doesn't lie with the politicians or with the RGPF, but it lies with you. You said if your people who are called by your name will humble themselves, pray, turn from their wicked ways, you're going to hear from heaven, you're going to heal, and you're going to forgive. Lord, we are praying for a turnaround in our nation. We are praying for a turnaround in our homes, in our countries, in our school this year. We pray that God will not come see those deviant behavior continue to rise and all the things that our young children are faced with, Lord, disobedient, rebellious. As we are studying our families, that, family is the bedrock, is the first institution of learning. And if the homes are weak, there's no prayer, there's no guidance, there's no discipline, there's no direction. Then when they go to school, it's going to be like a hell on earth for the teachers and for the principal. In the communities, it will be the same way. And wherever they are called to be, Lord, because there's no discipline. Oh God, we just continue to pray that as parents we would have that burden and a passion in our heart to speak to our children, to lead them in the right direction, to give them good counsel when they're leaving home in the morning. So you're going to school to learn, you're going to school to make yourself a better person in the future. Encourage them to choose wise friends. The Bible says evil companion corrupt good morals. Sometimes you might have a morally good and strong child, but when they go out among the others who do not have that character and that values and that norm, sometimes they get swiped away, they get sidetracked, and they become even more rotten than those who that are out there, Lord. So God, we pray against peer pressure. It is there, but God, give our young people wisdom to choose right friends, to choose right wise counsel, even when they are being corrected by others, elders, or persons in the community. Sometimes you see the attitude, Lord. I pray he that is often reproved, the Bible says, and hardened his heart and stiffened his neck will be suddenly cut off. So sometimes some of them end up being, dying because of disobedience and rebelliousness, Lord. God, I pray that you must not forsake the instruction of your parents and of your father and of your mother. And God, you call on children to honor their parents, to love them, to respect them. And sometimes many of us dishonor our parents and our lives are miserable. Help me to see the concept in the Bible that you should obey in all things and at all times. God, I just continue to pray protection over our nation today, pray protection over those in our government, those who are the authority figures, every authority figure in our nation today. I pray for them that they would lead well, they would be men of substance and women of substance and integrity, would lead our maybe good example. All one of the things I'm seeing happening is so much bad example among the elderly that the young people is difficult for them to see good role models, good examples, and sometimes it's seriously lacking. But God, we pray for elderly women and men who would be of good character, good report. We will be able to encourage. We will be able to speak blessing over our children, over our nation. Even though they have bad behavior, Lord, we still have to bless them. You can be a better person. You can make it. And whatever situation they might be going through in their homes. We heard yesterday that there's so many children who are out of school because of financial stress, or parents was not able to adequately provide for them so that they could be in school. Lord, we pray that you'd open the doors of heaven for them. You open up opportunities for them so that they will be able to get help. And God, this morning I pray that no boy, no girl, no young person will be left behind because of poverty and other situations that may confront. So, Father God, today, just pray a blessing over our nation today. I pray the peace of God would reign and rule in our hearts. And Lord, may the peace of God go before us today and give us a blessed and productive day. We pray in Jesus' lovely name. Amen and amen.
Amen. How are you doing? Hello? Are you there? Annette? I think she's gone.
Move when you're moving, which direction you're going, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful.
Where you go, where you walk, what you say, when you talk. Where you go, where you walk, what you say, when you talk.
In your search for happiness, you got to leave a little room for loneliness. More things could happen all of a sudden before you realize it's only a disguise. You got to be careful. You got to be careful with what you do and how you're doing it. If you do, when you're doing it, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, careful.
Renbeck, Community Partnership Initiative.
The classrooms that were refurbished as a result of this project really were not conducive to installing ICT into the classroom. Many of the windows were not functional. The security to the actual rooms themselves were insufficient. At the Maribor campus, the roof was also termite infested. The college is extremely appreciative of the contribution of GrenLink to this project to really enhance learning through the use of information and communications technology.
The first word when you speak about furniture is classic. Yes, at Classic Furniture, they design and make the best in local furniture. All their products are made from the finest local wood available on island. You think it, they design it and make it to your expectations. The highest standards at the best possible price, and they also provide higher purchase for you, their valued customers. Located on Ben Jones Street in Grenville, with their factory at Chantimel in St. Patrick. That's where you need to visit when looking for products made of the finest local wood. They deliver and install items at no extra cost. Your satisfaction is their mission. The extra step is taken to ensure their customers are completely satisfied. They do doors and finished kitchens, supplies mattresses, and restores antique pieces to look like the first day they were made. Hey, give us a call on 442-4645 and 442-9726. Classic Furniture, Grenada's homegrown furniture producers.
It is said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Therefore, the authenticity of the beverage can only be acquired in the taste. A taste which is original to Antoine de Beauregard Industries and comes from a combination of spices and local rum, which can hold its own all over the world. Woodman, a strength which speaks for itself. A taste which stands out from the rest, bottled with care, which speaks to perfection. Try Woodman today and be stunned by a flavor as never before. Let your palate savor that which is produced locally. Do not be deterred by substandard products. Our taste speaks volumes and sets us apart from the competition. You will be satisfied with every sip of our product. Say rum, say Woodman, feel satisfaction. Now that's quality.
Step inside. Immerse yourself in colors that come alive.
Color by Sissons.
Let your imagination run wild. Surround yourself in a world of color.
Color by Sissons.
Endless inspiration. Bold expression. Bold expression.
Color by Sissons. Sissons. Express your style with Color by Sissons.
The Grenada Tourism Authority, GTA, invites all tourism operators to apply for the renewal of license to operate in the industry under the GTA Act No. 42 of 2013 and the Tourism and Beach Vending Act No. 18 of 2001. Renewal of license will commence on August 21, 2023 and continue through to September 22, 2023. These tourism operators include taxi drivers, tour operators, tourism attraction operators, water sport operators, car rental operators, tourist guides. Accommodations includes hotel, villas, guest houses, apartments and cottages. Tourist vendors at Grandin's Craft and Spice Market, Monroe's Beach, Melville Street, Fort Frederick, Annandale Waterfall, Grand Etang National Park, Concord Waterfall, and Bathway. Stakeholders can apply for renewal of the license Mondays to Fridays between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. at the Grenada Tourism Authority's Quality Assurance Department, Burns Point, St. George. The GTA is working with stakeholders to develop the tourism industry in Grenada, Carriacou, Carriacou and Petite Martinique. For more information, contact the Quality Assurance Department at telephone number 440-2001 or 440-2872. Or you can email at www.puregrenada.com/quality-assurance. It is now 7:20 a.m. We're going to head to the Maurice Bishop International Airport to see what we have weather-wise.
Where you go? Where you walk? What you say? When you talk? Where you go? Where you walk? What you say? When you talk?
It's a hungry world out there, with everybody scrambling to get a share.
And we have Andre Charles from the MBIA. Good morning to you, Andre. How are you?
Good morning to you. I'm fine, and good morning to listeners or general public. And here's what I for today. Tuesday, the 12th September 2023. Currently, it's partly cloudy. Winds are from the southeast at 15 miles per hour. Barometric pressure 11.5 millibars. That's below normal and rising. Present temperature 29.7 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity 78%. Yesterday's maximum temperature 32 degrees Celsius. Last night's minimum 28.9 degrees Celsius. Over the past 24 hours, only a trace of rainfall was recorded. Hence, the total for the month remains at 4.8 millimeters. Now to have a look at the forecast, both for today and tonight. Today we expect some generally fair conditions with a low chance of brief evening showers. Maximum temperature 32.5 degrees Celsius. Winds east-southeasterly to southeasterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Seas moderate, waves 4 to 6 feet in open waters. Tides will be low at 9:30 a.m. and high at 3:30 p.m. Sunset today at 6:12, rises tomorrow at 5:57. Just a repeat of the forecast, that's for today and tonight. Generally fair with a low chance of brief evening showers. Maximum temperature 32.5 degrees Celsius. I'm Andre Charles, report from the Met Office. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andre, and you have a great day.
Thanks, same to you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Where you go? Where you walk? What you say? When you talk? Where you go? Where you walk? What you say? When you talk?
In your search for happiness,
It is 7:22 in the morning. I'm waiting for drumsticks, and while I'm doing that, let me say good morning to McSween Belfon. Good morning to Yvonne Roberts, Faithlyn Halley Douglas, Christine Otley, Jerome Lewis, Shirley Scarrett, Adrian Watts, Alban Harris, Claude Abraham, Wendy Tallisford, Cicely Celestin, Pearl Charles, Norma Ray. Also, let me say good morning to Kenro. I hope you're feeling better this morning. Miss Matheson, good morning to you. Good morning to Suzanne in Riverside. I hope I remember that's your name, Susan. That's mother's niece. The Glean family in Marley, Emily and Rose in Lamode, the Date family in Canada, which is Daphne, Arlene, Ethan, and Olivia. Mayana in Marley, good morning. Good morning to Analdo John. Coffee in the morning, and Mama, wherever you're, good morning to you. And let's see what we have on WhatsApp. Good morning to Patrick Otley. Keith Sylvan, good morning. Good morning to Lennox, and I think Gabby said good morning yesterday, but I'm going to say good morning to you also. And good morning to all the listeners of Real FM. Hope that you're having a great day, and stay tuned for the program this morning. I have a guest that is coming in at 8. Good morning, Robert Edwards. I think I have Drumstick online now, so let's see. Good morning, Drumsticks.
Hello, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to the nation. Reading from the Word of God, Psalm 134. Behold, bless ye the Lord, all ye servants of the Lord, which might stand in the house of the Lord. Lift up your hands in the sanctuary, and bless the Lord. The Lord that made heaven and earth, bless thee out of Zion. This is the end of the scripture reading.
Drumsticks? What happened? We go shotgun this morning?
Really, I read a short psalm this morning.
Okay, I know. Everything okay?
Yes, for the time.
That's good. Have yourself a great day then.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you're looking to improve or maintain your health, look no further. We have a general practitioner right here on Main Street, Sates in the Quasi. Dr. Guerra, a gynecologist and surgeon who specializes in women's health. She offers lab tests, blood, pap smears, prostate cancer, and stool tests. Consultation for pregnant women from beginning to end. Surgeries, which includes hysterectomy, tying of tubes, vaginal shrinking. You can also call for an appointment at 423-3352 or our landline at 444-4272.
Oasis Pet and Garden, located in Westerhall, St. David's, has supplies for all your pets, fish, cats, dogs, and bird supplies, including bird food, cages, shampoos, soaps, and much more. Also available are agricultural products such as rat poisons, fertilizers, garden sprinklers, insecticides, and vegetable seeds. Wholesale prices available on selected items. Open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thinking about your pet or garden? Give us a call. Contact 403-7379 or 437-3532. Email oasisgrenada1@gmail.com. Oasis Pet and Garden, a home for farmers.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do thin stuff. Garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on, people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
The Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, the credit union of Grenville, takes you where you want to be. Feel secure with the Credit Union of Grenville, taking care of all your financial needs, including savings, loans, mortgages, and sound financial advice. Serving you with branches on Jubilee Street in Grenville, Lucas Street in St. George's, and coming soon, our Grandstand sub-office. Call us on 442-8602 or visit one of our offices. With Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, your financial security is guaranteed. M&M Hardware Limited, Hope St. Andrew and Dusty Highway, St. George. Shop conveniently for all your building materials, including plumbing, electrical, lumber, cement, steel, and much more. We manufacture roofing sheets available in 11 colors, aluminum windows, doors, insect screens, and hurricane shutters. Installation services are available for all our manufactured products. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. M&M Hardware Limited. Come on in and experience our affordable prices, or call us 444-6757 or 440-6757 Dusty Highway. Email us at info@mahonhardware.com or mnmdusty@mahonhardware.com. M&M Hardware, foundation to roof. Let's build together.
Good Good morning to Carol Belfon, Dolores Redhead, Anne-Marie Celestine Grant. Good morning to you, Miss Job, if you're listening. Good morning to the Hill Street people, the Robinsons of the Clarice, good morning. Jester, good morning wherever you are. I know that you're listening. NP, good morning. Good morning to Maureen Rash. You're listening, and Cheryl also. The Cashew Tree Gang, good morning. Hope class is in session. I may stop by and get some, free lessons. Good morning to Swans in Plains. That's close to the university under the cashew tree. Now, it is Tuesday, Mental Health Tuesday. 2 weeks ago, we spoke about suicide. And that's because a young lady tried taking her own life. We spoke about it. We got a lot of feedbacks, which I'm going to ask you to give me here this morning again. But I'm going to have a guest this morning to talk again on suicide, because this month, September, the whole month of September is Suicide Awareness Month. And it is very troubling because the World Health Organization, all these organizations, PAHO, they are saying that suicide is becoming an epidemic. The guest that I have this morning, he's coming at 8, would be Dexter Mitchell. I know some of you may have heard him on the news a couple days ago speaking about suicide. So this morning he's going to be here with me to talk about suicide, that deadly thing, the silent killer, as we all call it. Because a lot of us really and truly do not know what really causes people to commit suicide. So this morning I'm going to try to look into the mind of someone who may be able to tell us a little more on what suicide is all about. So those of you who are listening, and you may know someone close to you that have tried committing suicide or have committed suicide, most times they leave a note behind saying why they did what they did. So maybe you can call and let us know what you think could be some of the issues that causes people to take that path. We know some, but there's always different things that causes one to take that route. So this morning we are going to talk about it more in depth when the guest comes in. But right now if you want to call and talk about something or someone you know that may have tried it and succeeded, or did not succeed, they survived it, how do they live their life after that? So it is 442-0175. Good morning to you, Mona. Good morning, Lyndon or George. I'm not sure if you're at work today, but I know you listen wherever you are. Good morning to you, and always thank you for checking in. Gemma Warwood, good morning to you. Sky in Toronto, Canada, good morning. Good morning to you, Junior, and your brother in Mississauga, Mary. Good morning to you guys. We know that you check in every Tuesday, Mary. Thank you for doing that from abroad. Everyone that is listening to Real FM on a daily basis, we really do appreciate what you do by listening to us and making your comments and everything that is real. Thank you. We cannot say that enough. So the number is 442-0175. If you want to call and make a contribution as to what the topic is this morning, go right ahead. I'd like to say good morning to someone who always put a snag in my Tuesday. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well and hope you're listening. Don't be afraid to call when you're ready and make your contribution also. At 8, Dexter Mitchell is going to be here. And as I said, we're going to be talking suicide again this morning because it is Suicide Awareness Month, September. And many people are speaking out about suicide. So, call. You can call now. I'm open to discuss things. But we're going to get the in-depth look at suicide this morning when my guest comes in. So, let's see what we have here.
Where you walk, what you say, when you talk,
before I get into the thick of things, let me say this morning what Velma Restaurant and Bar has in store for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This morning for breakfast, we have coconut bakes with saltfish and smoked herring, also ground provision. Local herbal tea. Lunch, we have kuku, kalaloo, stew, fried chicken, fish, ground provision, savory rice, green salad. And local fruit juice will accompany that. And for dinner, we've got burgers and fries. So breakfast, coconut bakes with saltfish and smoked herring, ground provision. Local herbal tea. For lunch, we have kuku, kalaloo, stew, fried chicken, fish, ground provision, savory rice, green salad. And local fruit juice is going to accompany this. Also for dinner, we're going to have burgers and fries. Good morning to you, Lorna Bain. Always checking in. Hope it is not too cold on the side of Tio, because here it is hotter than July, let me tell you. And we are in September.
Greed and jealousy, hatred and envy, man, you have to move with care in that jungle out there. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. How you move when you move it.
Susan Wildman, are you the Susan that I saw a couple days ago? You can just send me a thumbs up on the live and then I'll know exactly who you are.
You gotta be careful, careful.
Where you go? Where you walk? What you say? When you talk?
Ozone really gets it clean. Get with the Ozone family line of products. Ozone liquid laundry detergent. Perfect for your semi or fully automatic washing machines. Yet suitable for your hand wash. Soft on your hands. Ozone disinfectant cleaner. It's the most powerful disinfectant and cleaner with a long-lasting fresh scent. Tackles every job around the house or office. Ozone detergent powder and ultra soft fabric softener gets your clothes clean with a natural freshness. Keeps your colors bright. Choose from the wonderful scents: soft flower, ocean breeze, and the new aloe vera. Keep your kitchen sparkling clean with the Ozone dishwashing liquid, Ozone sponges, and cleaning cloth. Ozone toilet bowl cleaner removes lime scale and kills germs while giving your toilet a refreshing scent. Ozone really gets it clean. Marketed and distributed by Calico, Frequente St. George's, and are available at shops and supermarkets nationwide.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and the regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes. When you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
Where would you go to get screened for cancer? The city. So, where would you go to get a biopsy done? The city, of course. Well, I have news for you. Dr. Nuroka Moya Santos, an oncologist located at Gladstone Road in Granville, St. Andrew, at room number 5, will be able to assist you. She provides general assessments, including tumor screening. Children, teenagers, women, and men can visit. She is a comprehensive family doctor. She also offers pap smears, home visits, and provides palliative care. Her work is supplemented by the efficiency of Alice Labs in St. Andrews and Fit for Life Clinic in Grandance. Her hours of operations are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Eliminate the stress of traveling and visit our Dr. Santos Health Office in your neck of the woods. You can walk in or call for an appointment at 449-7926 or 442-4721. Tomar, La Salud, and Sirio. Take your health seriously.
Lorna Bain has reported that it is raining in Toronto and it's much cooler. Well, yeah, it's September. We're heading into fall. You know, I do not like the cold weather at all. But let me tell you, the trees, when it's coming into the fall weather, the trees and the leaves, the colors that it change to, oh, mamma mia, it is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. If you get a chance to Google fall in Toronto with the leaves, just Google it. The leaves are yellow, brown, reds. And the most interesting thing is they are dead leaves. But they change into that beautiful colors of fall. That's the only thing I like when it comes to the change of the weather. To drive along the Don Valley Parkway or on the Gardner, and you see the row of tree lines on the side of the road, and all you can see is just that beauty of dead leaves. But it is amazing. They make it on postcards and background for your screensavers and everything like that, because it is that beautiful. There's a place in the Ottawa Valley when you're driving. I think that is the most beautiful part of fall in Canada, in the Ottawa Valley, with the different shades of tree colors, leaf colors, and it's like a mass field with just dead, beautiful leaves. So, Lorna, I'm sorry that it's cold and rainy, but hey, it is nice and sunny and warm here. Sometimes too warm, but hey, I'll take that any day. And I know you would too, because you just left Spice Country and went back to this. So just buy the ticket again and mosey on over here. I'm here. We can have some fun together. Jester, where are you this morning? So as I said, it is Mental Health Tuesday. We're talking suicide this morning. I said I'm going to have a guest in at 8. But that does not stop you from calling in and say what it is that you have on your mind. Don't leave me here, let me blah, blah by myself. I need some interactions. So somebody call me. And you can talk about, if you know about the fall leaves, you can talk about the summer leaves, you can talk about summer, you can talk about fall until 8 o'clock when we delve into suicide awareness month and talk about all things suicide, which is not a good thing at this moment because we are hearing that it is becoming an epidemic. When I was doing research on that, it says that there are children at the age of 10, an average of 10 suicides per day takes place in the world, and children as young as the age of 6. I was like, whoa, 6 years old, what would you know about killing yourself or trying to take your life? What? And the statistics are not getting any prettier. They have about Trinidad. Well, I leave that for when my guests come in. Trinidad is right up there with it. We have Africa. We have all different countries in the world are suffering from this epidemic of suicide. We have a taste of it in Grenada, and let me tell you, we are not liking it. And it is getting worse as the day go by because so many things are going on in people's lives, the stress, everything. And a lot of us do not know how to deal with it. So hopefully this morning we may get some insight as to who and where we can go to get some help in reference to this silent killer, as they call it, suicide. It also talks about the media and how they can get involved and how they report on suicide. Do they report on it in a positive manner, in the sense that, when I say positive, not go kill yourself, but how they report on it? Is it making it better or is it making it worse? The media are also in training in reference to suicide, the epidemic of suicide. The number here is 442-0175. You can call the WhatsApp or the landline. Again, 442-0175. Good morning to you, Goddess Bella. You haven't checked in as yet, but I know you're listening. Over there in Texas, what is your weather like on your front? So, waiting to see what's going on here.
You gotta be careful, careful.
Renbeck Community Partnership Initiative.
The classrooms that were refurbished as a result of this project really were not conducive to installing ICT into the classroom. Many of the windows were not functional. The security to the actual rooms themselves were insufficient. At the Maribor campus, the roof was also termite infested. The college is extremely appreciative.
The first word when you speak about furniture is classic. Yes, at Classic Furniture, they design and make the best in local furniture. All their products are made from the finest local wood available on island. You think it, they design it and make it to your expectations. The highest standards at the best possible price, and they also provide higher purchase for you, their valued customers. Located on Ben Jones Street in Grenville, with their factory at Chantemelle in St. Patrick. That's where you need to visit when looking for products made of the finest local wood. They deliver and install items at no extra cost. Your satisfaction is their mission. The extra step is taken to ensure their customers are completely satisfied. They do doors and finished kitchen, supplies mattresses, and restores antique pieces to look like the first day they were made. Hey, give us a call on 442-4645 and 442-9726. Classic Furniture, Grenada's homegrown furniture producers.
It is said, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Therefore, the authenticity of the beverage can only be acquired in the taste. A taste which is original to Antoine de Beauregard Industries and comes from a combination of spices and local rum, which can hold its own all over the world. Woodman, a strength which speaks for itself. A taste which stands out from the rest, bottled with care, which speaks to perfection. Try Woodman today and be stunned by a flavor as never before. Let your palate savor that which is produced locally. Do not be deterred by substandard products. Our taste speaks volumes and sets us apart from the competition. You will be satisfied with every sip of our product. Say rum, say Woodman, feel satisfaction. Now that's quality.
Step inside. Immerse yourself in colors that come alive.
Color by Seasons.
Let your imagination run wild. Surround yourself in a world of color.
Color by Seasons.
Endless inspiration. Bold expression. Bold expression.
Color by Seasons. Seasons. Express your style with Color by Seasons.
The Grenada Tourism Authority, GTA, invites all tourism operators to apply for the renewal of license to operate in the industry under the GTA Act number 42 of 2013 and the Tourism and Beach Vending Act number 18 of 2001. Renewal of license will commence on August 21st, 2023 and continue through to September 22nd, 2023. These tourism operators include taxi drivers, tour operators, tourism attraction operators, water sport operators, car rental operators, tourist guides. Accommodations includes hotel, villas, guest houses, apartments and cottages. Tourist vendors at Grandin's Craft and Spice Market, Monroe's Beach, Melville Street, Fort Frederick, Annandale Waterfall, Grand Tang National Park, Concord Waterfall, and Bathway. Stakeholders can apply for renewal of the license Mondays to Fridays between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. at the Grenada Tourism Authority's Quality Assurance Department, Burns Point, St. George. The GTA is working with stakeholders to develop the tourism industry in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. For more information, contact the Quality Assurance Department at telephone number 440-2001 or 440-2872. Or you can email at www.puregrenada.com/quality-assurance.
Where you walk, what you say, when you talk, where you go, where you walk, what you say, when you talk.
Good morning to all of you who are just checking in on Real FM. Good morning to you, Amanda. And I didn't say Amanda, I said Manda. Wherever you are, good morning. I know that you're listening and you don't want me to call your name, but hey, I got to say good morning because you're listening. Good morning to Marlon Klein. Where have you been? Haven't heard from you or seen you on the live for a minute. Good to have you. Good morning, Cami, wherever you are. If you're down there listening at home, good morning to you. Good morning to the staff of the Realist FM, which is Real FM. It is now 7:52. In a few moments, we should have a guest appearing here in the name of Dexter Mitchell. And I guess everyone is waiting for when he comes to make the phone call, so I'm here blabbering by myself. Now I miss Jester because I could have beat up on Jester and say anything I want to him, but now I have to be, all by myself, behaving myself because there is no Jester for me to beat up on. Mona, how are you? I hope all is okay. Kenro, I said good morning to you and I hope that you're feeling better. You could give me a quick call and let me know if all is well with you or if you're still a bit under the weather. 7:53, good morning to all the teachers, principals, to the bus drivers, the conductors. Please take care of the nation's property. When you're driving this morning, do not speed with the children. I know some of them do like the speed because sometimes I'm on a bus and I'm saying my prayers while I'm coming up because let me tell you, they are like Speedy Gonzalez behind that wheel. And the kids, or the children, I have to learn not to say kids, the children loves it. But poor me, I ain't like that fast, right? If you're going like that little 40, it's good. But when you're going like 100 and something, especially when you're passing on the Plains Highway, this is where speed meets speed. And going around that corner, yikes, no one slows down. It's like we are in the F1, we are trying to be better than Hamilton. But hey, you guys don't have the car. You don't have the equipment to do that. Take your time on the road. 250, you're going to kill somebody for 250 or 150, not me. Take your time with the nation's people. Those who are going to work, they need to get there safely. The children are going to school. They need to get to the class and be prepared to take in what the teacher is teaching them and not be frightened. So take your time on the road.
Little England, you asked for a store that speaks to quality and we gave you. Now, you have started asking for brands and we have brought them in for you. Little England has all the brands you're looking for. Washing machines. We have Hoover, Indesit, Beko and Candy at the best possible prices. Deep freezers, fridge freezers, all sporting the Sharp and Hoover brand. Microwaves of top quality, Panasonic and Kenwood. We stock the best in smart TVs, JVC, Sharp and Panasonic. Now listen, this electric and top stove kettles, steam and non-steam irons, toasters, Bluetooth speakers, phone charger and cables, including wireless chargers, top brand names in blenders, solar lights, for both inside and out. The only appliance we do not stock is a transformer, because all our appliances are for the authentic power source to 20 volts. So check us out at Little England. We aren't so small after all. Little England, located Main Street, Satires. Call us on 458-4111. That number again, 458-4111.
RENDEC Community Partnership Initiative.
The classrooms that were refurbished as a result of this project really were not conducive to installing ICT into the classroom. Many of the windows were not functional. The security to the actual rooms themselves were insufficient. At the Maribor campus, the roof was also termite infested. The college is extremely appreciative.
Hungry, anyone? You heard about it, and it's finally here. Velma's Restaurant and Bar, located High Street, Satires in St. Patrick. They're open from 6 a.m. until midnight. Breakfast is available from 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. On the menu is roast bake, sawfish, and many, many mouth-watering items. Lunch is a close second, with items that can be grilled to your satisfaction. We have steamed fish and other seafoods too. For the health-conscious ones, we provide vegan and vegetarian dishes. Looking for something that will hit the spot? From 5 p.m. until close, come and enjoy our burgers and fries. At Velma's, we cater and host parties. We have an on-site bakery where you can place your orders for fruitcakes and other pastries. We also have local juices. Listen to Real FM for your daily menu to place your order in advance. Call us at 419-5622. That number again, 419-5622. Velma's Restaurant and Bar. Come eat lunch with us.
Maya's Collection, located on Main Street, Satire, St. Patrick, announces its back-to-school promotion. Available are uniforms for MacDonald College, St. Mark's Secondary, Montrose SDA Comprehensive, St. Joseph Convent Grenville, and some uniforms for primary and pre-primary schools in St. Patrick. Check out Maya's today for all your school accessories, shirts, belts, socks, notebooks, and much more. Also in stock is a wide variety of household items. We are opened Monday to Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and later for your convenience. We accept government and Grand Coda vouchers. Call Maya today on 449-6197. A warm welcome awaits you.
And I am back. And as I promised, I have a guest today. I already said who he was. His name is Dexter Mitchell. And I'm just going to say good morning to you, Dexter, and how are you?
Hi, good morning, Claire. I'm very good. Happy to be in the beautiful parish of St. Patrick early this morning. Good morning to the listeners and viewers of Real FM.
The most historic parish in Grenada, St. Patrick. The most beautiful.
Of course, nice. It was lovely driving up this morning, seeing all the people on the way down. And I'm the counter driving up against the flow of the traffic. Yeah, but it's beautiful this morning. I can't wait when we are finished to go get some breakfast.
Where are you going to get your breakfast?
I'm not sure yet. I'm hoping that you or Andre could direct me.
There is Velma's Restaurant and Bar up the street.
Okay.
She has this morning, let me tell you what she has for breakfast this morning. Coconut bakes, with saltfish and smoked herring and ground provision.
Okay.
And with that, accompanied by local herb tea.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
All right, so I'm on my way.
Yes. Yes. So this morning, let me introduce you again to, this is Dexter Mitchell. I guess everyone knows him in sports per se. This is that where you're...
Sports, entertainment, carnival, culture, calypso.
Well, I only know you in sports partner, so I'm going to say...
Sports was the most recent one, the Grenada Invitational in 2017. But
Yes.
prior to that, I was a manager of the Grenada Carnival Committee.
Okay.
I was also the CEO of the Grenada Cultural Foundation. I've managed artists, produced music. Yeah, so probably...
So you're an all-rounder, as a jack of all trades? Which one are you master at?
Dexter.
True. Okay, so we know that this month is Suicide Awareness Month.
Yes.
And I happened to hear you a couple days ago speaking on suicide. You also said that you are no stranger to that. Now, we are hearing that suicide is becoming an epidemic around the world. And even us, in our little dot on the world map, is having our own share of it. So we have joined the gang of the epidemic. How can... What do you think causes people to take that route in their life?
Well, first off, let me congratulate you on the program. I know the program has been running for a while, and to Andre for allowing you the space. I think the discussions about mental health and mental well-being is very important. So while there might be heightened awareness this month because of the designation by WHO and PAHO, I think that conversation is necessary. The reason... I think because of what we've become, social media, we've become a very pressurized society where people are concerned about image and how things look. It's not so much about values anymore. It's all about perception and image. And especially younger people, if they cannot live up to it, they find themselves under pressure. We're also conveniently ignoring how people's feelings. You look around us and how people feel is not really much of a conversation or discussion anymore. It's like I said, it's all about perception and imaging, and we don't have real conversations anymore about feelings. Growing up with your grandparents or your parents, there were times when you had to sit around the dinner table and have those conversations. There were discussions with teachers at school, with principals. The pastors and the priests were not on this high throne speaking down to people as they do now. They actually came down to the village, came down to the communities, they did their walk-arounds, they were counselors, they were able to talk to young people, talk to parents, and find out what was happening. Now, if you cannot go to the pastor, if you cannot go to the priest, then you don't have access to them. They sit in the ivory towers now and in the air-conditioned churches, and they're not reaching out to the communities anymore, passing in the air-conditioned SUVs, and they're not in contact. So I think the lack of connectivity and communication is leading to a lot more depression, the lack of communication, the fact that we are not talking to each other, more talking about each other.
It's at each other.
A lot of, exactly, it's causing a lot of distress. So I'm hopeful by the end of this conversation and as more conversations continue, and that's why I've been doing a series of interviews and talks. Well, the Ministry of Health has reached out to me. I had an attempted suicide 13 years ago on the 23rd of October 2010. I did one interview probably in 2011, and I was hoping that more people, especially in authority, would reach out to me, that I would be given the opportunity to share my story and to use it as an inspiration or deterrent to people. But never, it's better late than never. This year seems to be the year that I was reached out to. I've been asked to sit on a steering committee. The Ministry of Health is undertaking mental health, serious mental health and suicide prevention policy. So I've been asked to sit on a steering committee. And Mr. Kevin Frederick, who is the PRO at the Ministry of Health, he has been very engaging in reaching out to me and ensuring that I use my story as an inspiration, provide the outlets so that people who are going through, it doesn't mean that you are at the verge of suicide or anything, but if you're going through some form of depression or some kind of stress, that hopefully my story inspires. And you spoke about the invitational, and I want to make this point very, very, very clear from the top before we get into the conversation even further, that I had an attempted suicide, which was a low point for me. I mean, I almost died. In effect, I was dead for 14 hours. I was out. I did not, I was completely unconscious. And even when I came to, the doctors said that for the first 4 days, I was still not out of the woods, so I could have died. But this is the same Dexter Mitchell who did the Grenada Invitational, that was on ESPN, and we got the stadium renamed after Kiri, and he brought some of the top athletes into the world, from the world into Grenada. So the point being, when I thought I was at my lowest, when I thought it couldn't get better, I've gone on to do even greater things. My best life professionally has been post-suicide. So I want people to look at that and let that be the inspiration for you, that when you think you're at your darkest hour and you want to end it all and nothing can happen, there is a silver lining and things can get much, much better. And it has for me.
For the past 3 weeks, I've been a teary fool. Tears always coming to my eye for the past three weeks that I've been doing that. And what you just said just touched me really, really hard because, not many people, and you and I know there are a lot of people that tried what you just said you tried.
Mm-hmm. No, we could say it. I mean...
No, I'm telling you, you said it, but there are a lot of people that they are so... I'm not sure if it's ashamed or they do not want anybody to know that they are doing it and they are suffering in silence. Mm-hmm. And these are the ones that take themselves out eventually. Mm-hmm. I am really happy that you're talking about it. Everybody knows your name. You are a household name. I know Dexter Mitchell before I even know who you are. I heard about you and everything like that. And when I heard you're on MTV last week, and because we do the mental health program here, I said, I have to reach out to you so that you can come and talk to us, me included, that, so we could make a change. Because what this program is all about is trying to break this cycle.
Of course.
I don't want to come here and sit and blah, blah my mouth and have nothing positive to bring to people. I'm trying to break this cycle because we know that there are a lot of people that are under a lot of pressure. And as you bring out the main point that says social media, a lot of us use social media to break down people instead of building them up.
Exactly.
You will hide behind that pillow, whatever you sit on that chair, and lambaste you, when you are not doing anything for me to empower me to be a better person.
Exactly.
So congratulations to you for putting it out there, and thank you for coming and grace Real FM with your presence to talk about this. Because mental health, as I say, mental health is not mental illness, but mental health can lead to mental illness if you do not get help for the things that you're going through. And you talk about depression. It seems as though depression is the number one, the key to causing people to commit suicide or attempt to commit suicide. Now tell me, what goes on in the mind? You said you tried it. What was going on in your mind at the time for you to take that road?
All right, so let me clear up one thing. I heard a professional speak recently, and he said people who are in that position are trying to hurt themselves, and that's not true. People who attempt suicide or who are depressed are not trying to hurt themselves. No. They are trying to end the pain. You get to a point, and in my case, and I'm going to be very clear on that. I don't care who the professional is. I don't care how many courses you studied about this. You did not experience what I experienced. So, and that is why I'm adamant about speaking my truth and coming out, because I'm hearing so many falsehoods. So imagine somebody dies by suicide, and the way you are going to gather information about what that person was going through is by speaking to relatives and friends and family members who had no idea what that person was going through. And in most cases, the person who is closest to them, the people who are closest to them, are the ones who are furthest from them when it comes to the situation.
Caller, we are going to come to you in a moment. Let him make his point.
Yeah. So my point being, when you get to a stage when you feel like your wall is crumbling mentally, so while things might look very good on the outside, and for me in 2010, I was the CEO of the Grenada Cultural Foundation. I had just chaired the National Celebrations Committee for Independence. That year we had one of the better independence celebrations. We had a fantastic year. And for a point of reference, it was the year Otis won Soca Monarch and Road Match with Tornado, so you know what it was like that year. And then by October, I wanted to die. I wanted to give up on life. Because there was a struggle going on within my mind, in my mental space that I had no control over. Professionally, I was being stepped on and ridiculed and lied about. Personally, that relationship was not working out the way I wanted it to. It was not working at all. And so there was no resolution. Mentally, there was no resolution. So you just get to a point. That Saturday morning, when I woke up, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I knew in my mind by the end of the day I was going to be dead. Like, I just couldn't continue to fight that battle. I couldn't fight that struggle anymore. So sometimes there are instances where people contemplate over a period of time. So for full disclosure, my father died by suicide, and he knew that he was going to die. His actions were, in retrospect, his actions leading up to his suicide told us the story that he knew he was going to. About 3 weeks, he was preparing himself, certain actions, certain things he was saying to us. Nobody picked up on his sign because we did not expect he'd have done something like that. And then in my case, you just click. You just wake up one day and you're like, okay, you know what? If they don't want me around, if people are treating me like this, if I cannot figure this out, then, I'm just going to end it all. And you find people like myself, people who are outgoing and creative and passionate about life and things. When that happens to you, when you get to that space, you figure it's interrupting your personality and your flow and how you accept life and so on. So it's best not to. So, for example, you look at somebody, the late Asquith Duncan, who was very popular, worked at the Board of Tourism, was an actor with Heritage Theatre, and he died by suicide. Robin Williams, one of the best comedians in the history of the world.
That was a shocker.
Exactly. Anthony Bourdain, who did the food program on CNN. Why would somebody like that?
In Paris.
Exactly, So people who are passionate and driven and so on, when they get to that space and they cannot find an outlet, then they choose that route. One more point I wanted to make. I think you touched on something about my purpose and speaking out now. The doctor who was a specialist who attended to me was an internist, so he was very clear on what he was talking about. So I had my attempt in October of 2010, and in February of 2011 he was showing me the X-rays, how much my lungs had cleared up and what transpired medically, physically. And he said to me, Dexter, medically, I don't have an explanation for this. This is a miracle. So obviously God stepped in to save my life and to give me a purpose. So that's part of the reason I'm here this morning, because I feel I have a purpose to try to help, to try to assist. So somebody might be listening this morning to whom I can make a difference. And if it's only one person, then it was well worth the effort.
That's what I always say, even though it's half a person. Now, with this program, we accept calls. Are you okay to?
Yeah.
So callers, when you're ready, we had 2 already, but I do not want to disrupt your point when you're making a valid point and thing.
It's okay.
Good morning to you, Jester. Jester says good morning to you.
Morning, Jester. Calypso at any cost.
Yes, he and I normally host, but I make him go, so
Okay.
Yeah, so, like you said, people do not really know what happens in people's minds. Because, honestly, I could be walking down there looking as happy as a clam.
Yep.
Nobody knows what is going on inside of me.
Yep.
The next minute you hear, Claire took her life, and you're wondering, well, how is that possible? But it is said that suicide, people are coming to it could be genetics. It could be the stress of what it is that you're going through. And for you, it was the stress of the... But you are in a better place now. And I can, you are talking about it because you are in a better place. You're trying to help the next person that is about to do that. And as we know, people can say a lot of things that can make you go and do wrong things. So I am hoping that you have built your steel and your metal inside of you, as I say. Once you have the metal and the steel, it is hard, it is impenetrable for people to reach you.
No, that has been built. I mean, when I woke that morning, that Sunday morning, I immediately knew that was the work of God. So obviously I have a much better relationship with my God right now. And outside of that, there are certain changes I made. And that will help people. You don't have to get as far as I got with an attempt, but in your own life, for your own safety, for your own security, for your own peace of mind, there are changes that you need to make. So one of the things I had to do was determine the people around me who added no value to my life. And so I made my circle a lot smaller, determine who I can trust, who has access to me. who is entitled to hear me or to listen to me. So I always tell people this, that you cannot be everything to everybody. So I have people that I speak calypso with, or who I speak sports with. We are going to have that conversation, but other parts of my life you would not have access to. They are the people I can trust and say, I'm not feeling well, I'm going through this or whatever, and they know how to respond. The other thing, speaking of which, I think counseling is very important. That's something you spoke about, stigma. That's something that we look upon as, only crazy people go to counselors. Or that's not true. Some of the most successful people in the world, Jay-Z, Oprah Winfrey, they have their regular therapists that they see. And that helps you. And I think it has helped me to be even more successful post-suicide attempt, in that I can get in touch with my true feelings, identify who I am, the things that I stand for, the things that I believe in. And also, like I said, it is very important to eliminate the negatives from your life. And you could do that through counseling, through having honest, open conversations, and make those changes.
It is very interesting that you say that, because, as you say, people will talk about people and the therapy and stuff, and people look at you as, well, you're mad or you're weak, but that has nothing to do with it. I've been therapized, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I've went through some stuff in my life and I couldn't handle it on my own. I find myself and sit down, and the thing is, you don't have to go upside down on a couch for them to talk. You go and you just open your mouth and say what is on your mind. Mine has taught me to write.
Okay.
When I am going through things that I feel that I'm losing it, start writing. And it's not writing to say, okay, I'm thinking about taking my life or thing. Just write about how I feel, and it has helped me a whole lot. So when people see and they hear that, oh, Dexter went to therapy, or he mad and this kind of thing, then you are the mad one.
Exactly.
It's not you, because he's seeking help. And if you sit there and you think to yourself that I am too big, I am too good for that, and my ego is going to step in and not let me think again. Because when it comes for you, it's not selecting, okay, I'm going to pass me and I'm going to go to that. No, it's coming for you.
And it does not always manifest itself into mental illness.
Nope.
I mean, there are a lot of deaths that are unexplainable or inexplicable, where somebody just dropped down and died. And it is because of stress. You get a stroke, a massive heart attack, or your system just shuts down on you because of the stress. So you might tell yourself that mentally I'm solid, I'm strong, I'm fighting this, but physically you're not, and then your body gives up on you. So yeah, we have to find those coping measures. We have to take care of ourselves. And like I said, for me, it started with surrounding myself with people who are good for me. And there's nothing wrong with cutting people off.
No, not at all. I cut them off like Bobbit.
Exactly. There's absolutely nothing wrong with cutting people off and finding the coping mechanisms. So for me, one of the things that I identify that helped me is exercise. So I do a lot of that, a lot of jogging, a lot of swimming, a lot of running. That clears up my mind also. I mean, we know what happens chemically and so on when you exercise.
We have a call. Would like to take it?
Sure.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I've been listening to your program, not from the start. But I would like to ask my brother if he believes that the time has come in Grenada for us to provide psychologists in clinics on a regular basis, so people who are challenged in that direction could have discussion with them, or the society could get accustomed with having this level. And secondly, again, among our young people, do you think it's a good thing for them to get themselves active in their religion or in their church? I'm not speaking about being very militant, but being active, if that might be able to help them to be better well-rounded. Thank you.
Thank you.
Two very good questions. To the first one, yes, I think we need a lot more professional help, and not just in the clinics, but I think at schools, the churches have to get on board. And I was on another program, and I was asked, where do we start? And I think we start at the ministry level. At the ministerial level, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Social Services have to do the work so that it trickles down. We cannot just randomly expect people to do right, and especially when it comes to mental health and depression. Depression is a silent killer. You don't know that you're depressed, you don't know why you're feeling that way, and then suddenly you're sick, or you want to take your life, or you're physically sick. So it has to start at that level and trickle down, so that There are policies that guides how we cope with those things. In terms of the churches, I fundamentally believe that we have to go back to the churches, and it's not just about religion. And as you said, I like the point that you make. It doesn't have to be militant, but growing up, that gives you a sense of community, a sense of belonging, so that if the young people don't have the gatherings at the churches or the Sunday school or the Bible studies, where they end up on the block smoking weed and drinking and misbehaving, and especially our young men. We do have a young men problem in the Caribbean that we are not addressing. So West Indies cricket, the calypso and the soca music that we were once proud of, the dancehall and reggae music, are all suffering because we don't have creative young men. They are all sitting on the blocks, smoking weed and drinking in Jamaica, scamming in Trinidad and St. Vincent, shooting people. So I think we have to get back that stability through the churches. Every parent, every grandparent has a responsibility on Sunday to find a church for their kid. It does not mean that they are going to be the next pastor. They have to be a born-again Christian. But the church gives them a certain sense of belonging and a certain sense of stability that if they do not find at home or in the church or somewhere else in the community, they will find it from their peers and end up in the wrong direction. So 2 very good questions, and that is my take on it.
Lindonna, you called and I locked you in, but you hang up. So call again and to make your contribution. Now, you said that, you sort of remove people from your surroundings. And I say kudos to you on that.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you something. You are a popular person. And popularity draws people to you. Everybody wants something from Dexter. Everybody wants to take a piece of Dexter. And you have come to the conclusion, well, no, I cannot do this anymore. And they may be upset with you for cutting them out, but you have to find your Zen moment.
Of course, you
have to find the peace in you and look around you and know what is toxic to you and what is not. So if you have to cut out toxicity around you, you do it, and you did.
And for me, it was easy because here am I on my dying bed, and the people who really loved me and who really cared about me, they made it the duty to show up or to send messages, to reach out to me. The people who did not care, that was manifested. And I'll give you this example. There was somebody I was close with professionally. We worked closely in professional circles. And that was kind of one of the problems leading to the kind of strained relationship leading up to October. And that gentleman, from the 23rd of October, when I was hospitalized, up to the first week in December, never reached out to me and called me in December to tell me he was busy. So if I'm on my dying bed and you are too busy to reach out to me, then you have no place in my life whatsoever. And some decisions were very easy coming out of that. Some were very easy on the other side. I mean, people that did not expect to do things for me. I mean, just showing up in the hospital with a bouquet of flowers. People now love flowers, coconut water, just coming and sitting down and having a conversation and so on. And then you go through the process of, you see how people treat you, the scorn, the stigma. And I'm kind of, in a way, I'm happy to be the advocate for this now, that it happened to me, because I think I'm mentally tough. I'm able to handle the ridicule that came out of it, and to let people know that you cannot be ashamed of feeling the way you feel, especially mentally. If you are going through something, that is how you feel, and if however you deal with it, whether you want to go to a therapist, whether you want to talk to somebody or whatever, that is your prerogative, So, and again, I'm the living example of how dark it can get, how much you want to die, and you come out of it and make better for yourself. Because generally, somebody in my position would be kind of cast aside, like it's over for you. You cannot be a public figure anymore. Nobody wants to deal with you. And that happened, actually. I mean, there were a couple of instances where people told people, "Oh, be careful with Dexter. There's a man that tried to kill himself. You can't trust him," or whatever. But people saw me for who I was and the things I was able to get done. So. And
this is the thing, though. When you look, it's a sickness. It is not something you called on yourself. It's not say, I sit there and I say, I'm going to commit suicide because I'm tired. It is a sickness. It is a disease. And sometimes there is the chemical reaction in our brain, we cannot control it. So when it takes its course, if you do not get help at the right time, it could lead to what you almost did to yourself. But thank goodness you made it out and you live to talk about it.
No, I was not supposed to die. Like I said, I think there was a purpose for it happening. It gave me an opportunity to kind of reset my life. I think God did that for me. He saw where I was headed, what was going to happen if I remained on that course.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing that happened on the 23rd of October 2010 was again part of the story, that I can come here now, and hopefully some young person or some elderly person is listening and I'm making a difference to them. I mean, I've had so many people reach out to me. There was one instant where somebody reached out to me, somebody I just exchanged, some insignificant message with on WhatsApp, and I got a call from her one day, and I actually thought it was a call it error, so I did not want to answer the phone, and eventually I answered it, and she was having suicidal thoughts, and she did not know about my story. So the conversation began, oh, you're thinking about killing yourself? Well, miss, I actually tried to kill myself. And then, kind of got her out of that dark space, and now that friendship and relationship continues.
We have a call on the line. Let's see if we can take it. Good morning.
Good morning to you, CJ.
Good morning, Jester. How are you?
And good morning. I'm fine, and good morning to your guest.
Morning. So how you doing?
Yes, man. I must applaud you for taking that initiative. And in doing such, it continues to help you to get over it, and you can be a shining example for others who are going through depression, that there is a way out and they don't really have to give in. But one of the things I realized, I don't think that our society is playing a pivotal role enough to help to safeguard against such. And I say that to say, right? Suicide, it comes from a certain lifestyle that would want somebody to have suicide. So, for example, people that gamble. I would have seen a movie once where there was a bad gambler, and he gambles everything. In the end, he and his family and go to drown himself in the river. That was a Chinese movie. I never really forget that. And there are a number of instances for example, people that have commitment and they can no longer could meet it, they tend to want to take that route. And we can leave children out as well. And parents ought to be careful. If you have two children and you are treating one far better than the other, that could cause that other child of wanting to take his life. So what is it that this society is doing? And we make mention here of the school lecture, here mention it. We have to able to make children know from an early age that there will be challenges. There will be reach stage of depression that you may want to give in. But you have to find a way of how you could safeguard against that. And that is where I think our society is failing us. That's my contribution for now. Dexter, I'll have to get your number from Claire, because we'll have to speak in another capacity, speaking about Calypso and culture-wise.
Find your own
great
show.
Program.
Find your own number yourself.
Have a lovely day, folks.
Good points, Jester. But I think it starts with our society being honest and recognizing that mental illness, as you said, Claire, is an illness and it has to be addressed. We cannot just cast aside people and say they're crazy or they will get over it. So I'll give you an example. In my case, people came to see me at the hospital and said, boy, Dexter, if you was going through this, why didn't you call me? And my question is, call you and tell you what? That I'm thinking about killing myself? Mm-hmm. You'll probably laugh it off and say, boy, go have a drink and we'll chat in the morning or something like that. What do you do when somebody calls you at 2 o'clock in the morning and wants to talk? And they are not going to call you and tell you that I'm thinking about doing something to myself or I'm going through stress. They will just want to have a mundane conversation. And that is something we need to safeguard against. Nobody's going to come up. If somebody's going through stress or depression and you ask, Claire, are you okay? The immediate response is, yes, I'm okay, I'm good. So you have to determine how do you get to that person to get that person to open up. So I think it starts with our society, removing the stigmas, being more honest about what we are going through and providing the outlets. I think we really need to start at the school level, because we know we are a hypocritical society. We are supposed to bury stuff and not expand on our feelings and those things. We're supposed to bury those things
under the rug.
Exactly. So I think those are things that we have to deal with, that we have to be honest and open with. So in my case, my father, when he died, it was in 1982. I mean, there was no thought about counseling, and me and my sister had nobody to talk to. You know, so you dealt with it. He was buried, and the next day expected to go back to school and function normally. So we need to find out at the school level what kids are going through. You know, if a child is coming to school and he's very quiet or she's very quiet, what is happening at home? What is going through that child's mind? Bullying that takes place, that we take for granted. Growing up, it was considered teasing. You're getting a rap, you're being given a nickname, and you're supposed to deal with those things. Now, with social media and the world changing the way it has, how does that affect a child? The background that they are coming from, the struggles at home. Is there abuse, physical, mental, or sexual taking place at home? I think we need to be honest and not cover things up. A lot of kids are ashamed to bring those things to the fore. They are fearful that they will be ridiculed, so they do not want to talk about it. So it starts with some honest, open conversations, and I think that the churches, like I said before, have to reassume their role, do the things that churches are supposed to do. You know, the teachers, I know that a lot have been asked of them, but they have to be more attentive so that even if they themselves do not address the problem, they can point it out to a counselor or some district officer or something who can help in that regard, because I know there are officers whose responsibility is those things.
Let's take a commercial break and we shall be right back.
The first word when you speak about furniture is classic. Yes, at Classic Furniture, they design and make the best in local furniture. All their products are made from the finest local wood available on island. You think it, they design it and make it to your expectations. The highest standards at the best possible price, and they also provide higher purchase for you, their valued customers. Located on Ben Jones Street in Grenville, with their factory at Chantemelle in St. Patrick. That's where you need to visit when looking for products made of the finest local wood. They deliver and install items at no extra cost. Your satisfaction is their mission. The extra step is taken to ensure their customers are completely satisfied. They do doors and finished kitchens, supplies mattresses, and restores antique pieces to look like the first day they were made. Hey, give us a call on 442-4645 and 442-9726. Classic Furniture, Grenada's homegrown furniture producers.
Step inside. Immerse yourself in colors that come alive.
Color by Seasons.
Let your imagination run wild. Surround yourself in a world of color.
Color by Seasons.
Endless inspiration. Bold expression. Bold expression.
Color by Seasons. Seasons. Express your style with Color by Seasons.
M&M Hardware Limited, Hope St. Andrew and Dusty Highway St. George. Shop conveniently for all your building materials including plumbing, electrical, lumber, cement, steel and much more. We manufacture roofing sheets available in 11 colors, aluminum windows, doors, insect screens and hurricane shutters. Installation services are available for all our manufactured products. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Saturdays 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. M&M Hardware Limited. Come on in and experience our affordable prices, or call us 444-6757 or 440-6757 Dusty Highway. Email us at info@mahonhardware.com or mnmdusty@mahonhardware.com. M&M Hardware, foundation to roof. Let's build together.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, When you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
The Government of Grenada has commenced preparations for the national budget for the fiscal year 2024, which will be presented in the Parliament later this year. In this regard, farmers, agro-processors, fisherfolks, and members of the public are invited to the Agriculture and Fisheries Budget Consultation. The consultation will be held on September 13, 2023 at the Deluxe Cinema, Grenville. It will commence from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., featuring presentations including reports of the 2023 consultations and the 2023 agriculture budget, actions, new projects, new programs in the 2024 budget for farmers, beekeepers, floriculturists, poultry, livestock, butchers, fisherfolks, longliners, sea moss producers, and agro-processors. For more information, please contact the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperative on 440-2708. And we are back. Let me say good morning to Cynthia Bartholomew, Magdalene Henry, long time no hear you, good morning. Sky, good morning again. Claudette Sylvester, and I know you're listening from Toronto, and I know it's rainy and cold, but let me tell you, we have sunshine in this part of the globe and Spice Country. We have sunshine, but thank you so much for checking in and listening. This morning, we are talking to Dexter Mitchell. And Dexter, as I said, I did research on suicide before. And it says that suicide is a serious public health problem. It says suicide rates increased approximately 36% between 2000 to 2021. Suicide was responsible for 48,183 deaths in 2021, which is about one death every 11 minutes. 3, the number of people who think about or attempt suicide is even higher and in 2021, an estimated 12.3 million Americans, adults, seriously thought about suicide. 3.5 million planned a suicide attempt, and 1.7 million attempted suicide. It said suicide affects people of all ages. In 2021, suicide was among the top 9 leading causes of death for people ages 10 to 64. Suicide was the second leading cause of death for people ages 10 to 14 and 20 to 34. So, based on the information from PAHO, the Pan American Health Organization, Trinidad has the 5th highest rate of suicide in the Americans. They are now looking at ways in which they can train members of the media on how they can do proper reporting to curb it, as it has been a public health issue. The National Center for Child Protection has revealed that more high school learners are attempting to take their own lives, an average of 10 suicides per day, some as young as 6 years old. And the World Health Organization estimates that there were over 700,000 suicide deaths in 2019 worldwide. So what we're seeing here is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yep. Well, I think we've fallen into the trend also. I mean, like I said, because of social media, because of societal pressures. And what we saw recently in Grenada is that depression and mental illness is no respecter of person. So whether you're a young professional lawyer, whether you come from a well-to-do family, whether you look good, it has nothing to do with that. And people are saying, oh, look at what you have and how much you have or how popular you are. Why would you want to take your life? And it's not about what you have. It is about that struggle that is taking place in your head, that mental struggle, and you get to that point that you cannot fight that battle anymore. So you look for a happy place. You look to end it. You know, I think those are the things that we need to look at. One of the things that Chester mentioned was about law, and I think that is something that needs to be dealt with a sense of urgency. A suicide is still a criminal act in Grenada. You can still be prosecuted for it, which I think is a holdover from slavery days. Obviously, slaves, what they were going through, not slaves, sorry, enslaved people, what they were going through. And so you had the plantation owners basically punishing you for wanting to take your life because you did not want to go through what you were going through. So I think that is a beginning for us. By not seeing suicide as a criminal act and recognizing it for what it is part of mental illness. And then, like I said, the ministry has started some work, which I'm very pleased about, and I'm going to contribute and help as much as I possibly can. Been asked to sit on the steering committee, but the conversations have to continue. And again, I would like to commend you for having that weekly conversation. It's not once a month. It's not, just when we commemorate it once a year. I think that we have to continue and give hope to people. There are so many people going through so much. The calls I get whenever I do an interview or do a program, the calls I get, the friend requests on Facebook, people reaching out to find out, being able to point people in directions where they can get counseling and just to have a conversation. And especially men, I think we try to pretend, and our society, again, because of the hypocrisy, tells us that we're supposed to be tough and we're not supposed to cry and we're not supposed to break down and we're not supposed to be soft-spoken. But we go through just as much as anybody else, just as much as the other sex, and I think we need to be honest with ourselves and have those conversations among men, that, yeah, this is real, this is what I'm going through, this is what is taking place with me. And the conversations help. We don't know how much just talking, finding somebody we can have a conversation with, finding somebody we can talk to and trust, how much of a difference that is going to make. And that has been part of my therapy, finding the right circle, finding the right people, reestablishing certain relationships on certain parameters, that this is what we are going to talk about.
People, the number is 442-0175. I know when the topic is that deep, you don't want to call, you sit and you listen. But we also need your contributions because we know that there are many, many, many of us out there who are contemplating suicide as we speak. We are trying to stop it. So if you have any inkling in your mind that this is what you think you might want to do, listen up to this program and talk to someone.
Just find somebody to talk to.
Yes.
Just call someone who you can trust and have a conversation with them. And like I said, just think about who I am and where I was. I was on my deathbed, and some of the best professional work I've done has been post-suicide. And that has not been used against me. The people at ESPN did not say, no, we're not going to do Grenada Invitational and put it on there because Dexter tried to kill himself. The government of Grenada did not do the same
48,193 people in the U.S. attempted suicide.
Yeah.
So ESPN is where?
Exactly.
Okay.
But I think I'm speaking locally because we are so concerned about the stigma and so on.
We have to stop this.
We have to stop it. We have to acknowledge what depression and mental illness is. We all at some level suffer from it. We all go through some level of stress, whether it has to do with finance, whether it has to do with studies, whether it has to do with work, the co-worker you cannot get along with. You sit on the bus and you don't like the person sitting next to you. You don't like how they look or they smell or the way the bus driver is driving. It has some effect on you mentally. There is no perfect situation.
Every day.
Nobody is living a perfect existence. So everything that bothers you, everything that interferes with your happiness, it is part of your mental well-being that you have to contend with.
Okay, so we as women, we have our little groups that we can meet and talk to. I call them my fives. None of them are here.
Okay.
They're all North America. But these are the group that if something is going on and I can't handle, I call, I said, we need a powwow. We talk. Can men do the same thing? Is there a group, men can form a little group, not to say, well, you come and you say this, and he go home and he tell his girlfriend, and before you know it, it's out there. Can you find a confidential man's group, like a man cave, that you can go in and have discussion in it?
It should happen. I know of one, a group of gentlemen. It's a Christian group that I think they meet on Saturdays. But it generally speaking, no. I think there are some kind of informal gatherings. So when you see a gentleman meeting for that after-work drink or that after-work lime, that is basically it. We could take the call.
We have a call.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning, CJ.
Good morning, how are you?
And morning to your case.
Morning,
Dexter,
good morning.
Yeah.
This is Gemma. The lady who spoke to you about her son when he had
Yes, I remember you, Gemma Ward.
Yes, I was thinking about doing the same thing like committing suicide, as I told you, when the young man's mother used to come along and throw words and stuff. And I look at that high window, to throw myself over because it wasn't long that my son got killed, And I just think about God. Still I know God, but, doing God and this problem you're going through sometimes, but, and I think about my children, other two sons I had, other 3 sons I had. And I held on.
And you're still holding on. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, because when people like you come out and speak as to what it is that you've gone through or what you're going through, and you live to tell about it, this alone can help someone to make a difference in their life. So thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Gemma. And I think it's important, and Claire, I've found that in my experience with this, so many people are getting the strength now to come out and say, I thought about it, or I went through that. I had a lady reach out to me and said that she was left with her 4 kids. The husband or the children's father left, and she actually threw herself in front of a truck. But the driver saw her and was able to stop in time. And he did not know what she was trying to do. He thought she had fallen, and he was able to get her out. But it was a suicide attempt. I've had an instance where somebody told somebody that, oh, be careful with him, he tried to kill himself. And the response to the person was like, well, I thought about it too. I started to plan my own suicide too. So you telling me about this, there's no shame in that, So I think we need to be honest with ourselves and remove the stigma. I'll tell you another story. When, after my attempt, and I was trying to put my life back together and figuring out what was working for me, one of the things I learned was I love driving out to the country. I'm originally from Closure in St. John. So I remember going up, hanging out, sitting with the guys, and the communion you spoke of about men, it happens informally. We'll get together, have a drink. We probably would not talk about the real issues, but there's enough of a conversation to get your minds off things. So I remember meeting a young lady and just started talking and having regular conversations. And somebody, I guess, saw us talking and thought it was their place to tell her, be careful with Dexter, he's a man that tried to kill himself. So when she came back and told me, I was like, what, this is kind of uncomfortable for me, so let's just cut out the conversations. And Claire, in 2 weeks thereafter, she called me and told me that her father had killed himself. So she wanted to talk to me to find out what happened, why he did not speak to anybody, why that is taking place. So I say this to say, we have to remove the stigma. We have to stop putting up this front that we all don't think about it once in a while. Would the world be better off if I'm not here? These people who are coming down on me, who are ridiculing me, do they want me out of this world? And should I take my life and be out of this space? Even if you don't think about it to that extent, but when you are going through whatever it is, stress you are going through, you just think, well, like the lady said, if I jump out of this high window, that's it. I have no more worries. If I go down on the beach and I go for a swim and go out as far as possible and not come back, that takes care of all my problems, So if I go up the road and I put this rope around my neck and go for a swing, that takes care of everything. We all have had those thoughts. So I think we need to be honest with ourselves and be honest with those around us. You mentioned your group. Some trend I see on social media is people saying, who's your best 12 and who you could reach out to, and those things are not helping anybody.
No.
That's all for show on social media. If you really want to help someone, you have a conversation with them, and when they reach out to you, if they call you and they want to talk about, the young and the restless, you have to know that the conversation is not about the young and the restless, but you need to have a conversation with them because they are going through something.
Yes.
And at some point, that trust is going to develop, maybe in that conversation where they will tell you exactly what they're going through, or at some point later on, they will tell you exactly what it is that they need from you. But we need to be honest with each other, and we need to take mental health serious. It is not easily identifiable as if you have diabetes or if you have a stroke, and we know the doctors are going to tell you what to do. It is not that easy, but we have to be our brother's keeper, and we have to understand that we all go through it. There is an effect of a semblance of depression and stress on all of us. We all go through some kind of stress that we have to contend and deal with, and we have to find our coping mechanisms and be our brother's keeper.
Yeah, and the group that I spoke about with my fives, as I call them, if something is happening, we don't beat around the bush and go up the mountain and come back down and see if Moses, we come out straight. This is what is going on. How can we solve it? You understand? Because I know it is not an easy thing to open your mouth and talk about things, but like you say, we have to stop the hypocrisy and tell ourselves that nothing is wrong with us when we know things are wrong with us. We have a call on WhatsApp. Let's take it. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning, CJ.
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us.
It's very important. It's very important when someone goes through some difficulties and they come out of it to come and speak about it, so then they could encourage others that are going through the same situation. So then what you are doing is like a testimony giving out to people that yes, you went through certain things, but then you recover from it. And one thing, Dexter, we have to be very careful what we say to people. No, we have a tendency saying to people was a win. But like a typical example, you have like where your child go to school and your neighbor child going to the same school, and your child excel, and the next neighbor child do very badly. You know what happened? What that parent will say to a child, you know good, nothing good will come out of you. Yeah. That child could take on that and ask, well, if I'm no good, well, they mix it up, I leave it. So we have to be very careful what we say as parents, what we say to our children, and what advice we give to our children. We should always give our children or people that we say, if we say we care, and with the proper advice. And say, yes, life is not the end of life. When you fall, don't stay down, get up. And learn from your mistake, and then you will rise again. But when we say that you are no good and nothing good comes out of you, that could destroy a child life. And I remember one of the PT meeting in GBSS, I remember my son was going, and one of the person was targeting Victor Ashby. He said, based on what we tell our children, that destroy the child heart. Because the child believe what you're saying, what you tell him. So we as parents, our children looking from us guidance, a word of encouragement. When we tell our children things like that could destroy them. They try to say, if mommy telling me that, and that my sister, my brother tell me that means I'm no good, they go on to commit suicide.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful what we're saying to our children. Always give the children a word of advice, because you have people who went and with him, Dexter, and on the last occasion they succeeded. Right? They succeeded. So we have to be very careful. I will give our children and people advice. Yes, someone may come to you and may tell you something, you don't have the answer. But there's someone that speak to you and they tell you about the situation. So you could take that person and bring to the person. So let the person share their testimony to them. And by sharing their testimony to the person, that person whose life will be changed.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
A very good point, because I mentioned bullying earlier on, but it's not just bullying among students or young people. Adults do it too. And we cuss and we quarrel among each other, and you see neighbors fighting. It might be over a piece of land or something, and that leads to, even if the child or the young person does not attempt suicide or commit suicide, but they might feel worthless, and that destroys their life. So a young man might end up on the block and say, well, they already told me I'm worthless, why should I even make an attempt? A young lady sees herself as worthless, so she is going to put herself with the oldest person who makes her feel worthwhile, and before she's 20 she has 3 kids and her life is over, you know. So I think that is important. That's a very important point, caller. And yes, I'm using also my situation as testimony and to help people. Like I said, the biggest example out of it is that out of the darkness has come this really bright light for me. I have a much better relationship with God, much better relationship with my mom, my siblings, a better understanding of who I am. I'm in a better position to help people. One of the things that has come out of it, with the support of my mom, we do a lot of charity work. A lot. In fact, I'm supposed to pick up some stuff again this week and distribute to people who are in need and so on. And that is my way of being thankful for life. That the opportunity God has given me, I'm going to use part of that time that I have left to help as much people as I possibly can. Not just by speaking to them, but by providing material resources where I can.
How old were you when you tried to commit suicide?
40. I just turned 40.
To 40.
Yeah.
Now, like we say, it has no age.
No.
Nothing. It does not give you a signal and say, okay, by the time I'm 40, I'm going to commit suicide. It says the age of 6 years old children are attempting suicide.
No, it's like I said, it's a click. Like that Saturday morning, after everything I've been through, I mean, like I said, it was a wonderful year for Carnival. It was a wonderful year for me professionally, from independence right up to Carnival, and you kind of wonder, and usually when those pressures come from the people closest to you, that makes it tougher. Exactly. And then you kind of, what am I doing wrong? What is not, maybe these people just don't want me around, so let me give them the wish, let me not be here. So that Saturday morning, you just wake up and it's like, I can't do this anymore, so like I said, to that professional gentleman who said on radio that people are trying to hurt themselves, I'll debunk that from now on till that kingdom
come.
Well,
you don't just take yourself and say, oh, I'm going to kill myself, or I'm going to hurt myself.
Yeah. But it's not hurt. You end in the pain.
Yes.
Nobody deliberately will cut their wrist to try to bleed and go through that physical pain. You are trying to end a mental anguish that is taking place inside of you. And you are trying to find a happy place. And a happy place will be, if I'm not here and if I'm not going through the stress, then I should be better off, So.
And sometimes you're crying out for help that nobody's really seeing.
I think that's it. That's the toughest part too. I think we have to pay attention to our loved ones, what is going through them, the changes that they are going through, the words that we use to them, allowing them to cry. Like I said, this person who had reached out to me a couple of years ago, why she was able to get out of what she was going through is just by me listening to her, and interjecting when I have to, but not being critical and saying, well, look what you have, you have a good job, you look good, whatever. Why should you be having those conversations? But allowing her to get in contact with her feelings, get in contact with herself, and understanding that there is no shame in what you are going through, what you're thinking about. You cannot blame yourself for the things that are happening in your life. What you have is the power to make some changes.
It's 4 minutes to 9. At 9 we're going to have news and then we'll come back, but we have a call right now. Let's take it. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
Thank you for taking my call. Good morning, Dexter. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm good.
All right. Dexter, I want to take this moment to say thank you for coming on and speaking of your experience and offering hope to men out there. I'm speaking to men specifically.
Yep.
You mentioned it briefly in passing. We suffer in silence because we try so hard to societal norms that we forget ourselves and end up in a very bad place mentally. And it's happened to you when you turn 40. Could you imagine a 50-year-old or 60-year-old who just went through COVID? Everything completely changed for them. The mental strain they went under. Yeah. Even come back to the younger men now, and the high school pressures, the societal pressures, and then we have the social media that is just at full tilt every minute, every day, every second. They're at them. Yeah.
Yep.
They're supposed to look this way. Have the 12-pack, the arms, the legs, the everything. Yeah, the smile and the teeth twinkle. Correct?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah, and then when the reality, as the South Africans would say back in apartheid day, when that tire go around your neck, the reality of your situation comes to life immediately.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
With that now, I would say we as society have to be guarded. Yeah? I love where you talked about the ministries need to take the lead. We need to have counselors in school full time. Every school should have a counselor. Every high school should have a resident counselor.
Yep.
Yeah?
Fully agree.
Every health should have a rotation of some type of therapists coming on board. Every day the clinic is open, there should be somebody there. Yeah, that's how serious it is. Our parents out there, some of them are so young they don't even realize the issues they have and are carrying and their children are picking up on. Yeah, they see it.
Yep.
Yeah, and they recognize it. Some of the workplaces are so toxic. It's incredible how people are still working in it and understanding it and still there because they need to provide for their children.
Caller, let me tell you, we are going to news right now, but I need you to call back and continue as soon as the news is finished, okay? Is that okay with you? Please?
I will try.
Thank you. All right.
All right.
It is 9 o'clock, and news here, and we are going to go to news, and then we'll be right back.
Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.
This is the latest news update as produced by Triple N. The details when I return.
M&M Hardware Limited, Hope St. Andrew and Dusty Highway St. George. Shop conveniently for all your building materials including plumbing, electrical, lumber, cement, steel and much more. We manufacture roofing sheets available in 11 colors, aluminum windows, doors, insect screens and hurricane shutters. Installation services are available for all our manufactured products. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Saturdays 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. M&M Hardware Limited. Come on in and experience our affordable prices, or call us 444-6757 or 440-6757 Dusty Highway. Email us at info@mahonhardware.com or mnmdusty@mahonhardware.com. M&M Hardware, foundation to roof. Let's build together.
Welcome back. Honorable Tevin Andrews, Minister for Carriacou and PD Martinique Affairs and Local Government, has reaffirmed his commitment to the growth of the agriculture sector on the island. In a significant move, his ministry has extended its support to 10 deserving farmers. The farmers were provided with essential resources to further develop their agricultural plots. As part of this initiative, the Carriacou Farmers Association has also received a grant of EC $10,000 in support of the promotion and advancing of farming practices on the island. In the region in Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Keith Rowley speaks to the opposition's stance on crime in the country. More details in this report.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said government continues to do what is necessary, saying the key to collaboration to dealing with crime is the opposition. He criticized the opposition for their stance in the previous parliamentary year for openly stating that they were not supporting any legislation brought by the government.
We've had people declare their position that they will not support anything that the government brings. And it's one thing to say that, but to act upon it is another thing. But you have a new president, it's a new parliament, there are new and worsening situations in the country which require Parliament's intervention. And we at the level of the government, we will keep trying in the Parliament to encourage our colleagues to put country first.
Questioned if he believes the opposition would change its stance in the coming year, Dr. Rowley said it is left to be seen.
When I saw today a member of Parliament attempting to insult the president in the chamber while she's addressing the nation, I don't see that change. I would like to see it, but there are members of Parliament who, as far as I'm concerned, are not prepared to see beyond what they believe is their prospect in the next election.
Around the globe, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un arrives in Russia before an expected meeting with Putin.
Setting off on his first international trip in over 4 years, North Korean state media broadcast photos of leader Kim Jong-un boarding his personal armored train, said to be taken on Sunday. He's due to meet with Vladimir Putin in or near Vladivostok, where the two last met in 2019. Their ties have been drawing closer since Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, driven by mutual need.
Russia needs from North Korea ammunition, shells, artillery, small arms, and probably manpower as well, soldiers. North Korea needs from Russia money, food, and most likely high-tech military machines.
Washington warns that any arms deal between Pyongyang and Moscow could trigger U.S. sanctions. U.S. officials say Kim's visit is a sign of Putin's desperation.
Having to travel across the length of his own country
to ask.
But it's still his own country.
Yeah, I know. To meet with an international pariah to ask for assistance in a war that he expected to win in the opening month. Look, I would characterize it as him begging for assistance.
If North Korea decides to help, analysts say the country has possibly tens of millions of artillery shells and rockets based on Soviet designs that could go to the Russian army.
And in sports, Virat Kohli and KL Rahul both hit unbeaten centuries as India thrashed Pakistan by 228 runs in the Super 4 stage of the Asia Cup in Colombo. Kohli 122 and Rahul 111 helped India post 356 for 2 before Kuldeep Yadav's 5 for 25 restricted Pakistan to 128. India's victory was their biggest over Pakistan in one-day internationals. This ends the latest news update as produced by Triple N. I am your presenter Maxine Entwine, thanking you for joining us.
Triple N. Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.
So Dexter, we are back, and I had to, as a caller that called just before we go on the news, to call back because he was making some very good, very good points in reference to men. And well, he's a man, and he's talking about what men went through in COVID and how they are suffering in silence. And that's the same thing you and I had that conversation while we were off the air.
Yep.
How COVID took a toll on households in not only in Grenada, but we're going to talk about Grenada because that's where we live.
Yeah.
How it took a toll on men, women, children. We had domestic abuse on the rise. We had sexual assault on the rise.
Yep.
We had incest on the rise. We had men, as he says, their teeth sparkling and they're dressing in their suits and all that, but they are suffering in silence. And you here can break that cycle by telling them you do not have to suffer in silence.
Yeah, and you do not have to suffer alone. I think even, and as a caller was talking, that kind of thought went through my mind, that even if you look at like our society and what leads to certain forms of degradation. So for example, the man who's coming from work and has issues, maybe work related, as a caller related to toxic work environment, issues with your boss, and then you come home and you have issues at home. So he's going to stop by the shop to get a drink.
We have a caller. Let's see. Good morning.
Good morning, Claire.
Yay! Who's back?
Okay, excellent.
Morning again, Dexter.
Morning.
I cannot continue. I must continue to express my gratitude for you coming on the program.
Thank you very
much. And speaking, like I say, it's very important to me personally to hear a man come on and speak about mental state and mental health and the disease of mental health, right? When we left, I was speaking about, the resources and the effort that needs to be put in place to help others that find themselves in that dark space. I myself sought professional help when I was in a situation where I could not understand what I was going through, why I was going through, why am I feeling this way, and I could not function professionally. Yeah, I would show up every day, but I'm not functioning. If we can understand that. Yeah, I was there physically, mentally, I was totally someplace else. I was not engaged in everything else. It's not till I sought some sort of help, I got to understand where I was, why I was there, and what I can do about it. Claire mentioned that she had to write. She journaled. I tried that. That didn't work for me at all. It was terrible. Yeah? Because your brain started to drift to the negative, and it's hard to come back. Like you, Dexter, exercise did it. It was like a light bulb went off. Yeah, I would go for a jog, and I'm trying to prepare a proposal. By the time I got back, I already had it in my mind. I would not even make it into the shower. I would go on the computer, and within 10 minutes, it was complete. That's how mentally sharp it came into focus. Yeah? But getting back, like I said, we need a lot of resources here in Grenada to put in place to assist people if we do not want to see this thing come to the proportion where we're hearing it so often. And like you said, it doesn't respect race, creed, social standing, or anything like that. It does not respect it at all. So the high school, when I see some of these young men, and I'm concentrating on them for a reason, and the behaviors they're exhibiting and everything else, their demeanor, it leads me to think that they are not getting the guidance that they needed. Either from home it doesn't exist, or even from the school it doesn't lends them in a way where they feel that there is some place for them to go. As Dexter rightly said, they end up on the block, and that looks and feels comfortable because they are accepted. Everybody's swimming in the same pool, so they're not seeing the bigger picture that there's an ocean out there that has, a bigger space for you to swim in and explore more. Yeah. So for me, I really like to see some. I have been actively looking for that and seeking that, and I still haven't found it. I'm not sure if you came across it, Dexter. A men's group where a man can go and feel comfortable and have an uncomfortable conversation. Do you understand what I just said there?
Yep.
An uncomfortable conversation. And know when he leaves there and reaches to the village shop, he's not going to hear, "Oh, Mr. Thomas, you didn't see him? He think he this and that, and he come there and he bawling his eyes out and he crying over something." Confidentiality in our society is non-existent. And I'm happy that you found people that you can confide in and be comfortable with to speak about what's there. And before I chew up all your time here, the one thing you spoke of that resonated with me so deeply is that you shed certain people out of your space. Yeah? No. I saw something that says, if everybody have access to you, you are nothing special.
Exactly.
Yeah? So if everybody have access to you, then you're nothing special. Now, if you decide to choose who have access to you, now you choose what comes into your mental space. What now have some type of effect on you. You are choosing it. Yeah? So once you get to that space where you can choose, now, as you rightfully say, some of the people, is not necessary that you don't want anything to do with them, but you're restricting the level of access that they have to you. Yeah, you're sometimes a professional person. You still need to deal with them. However, outside of that, you are put into this box and you're not escaping from that box. Because for my mental state, you need to be there, and you will be there. And it wouldn't change because you are affecting me in such a way that you need to stay in that box. Yeah? So a lot of the younger people don't know how to do that. They associate with people that just encourage them in the wrong direction, but they don't know because it's comfortable for them. It feels good for them because what they're looking for, they're providing. Is it good for me? No, it's not. But yet still you continue to go because it makes them feel good. Yeah? So, my brother, Claire, thank you so much for this program. I'm really enjoying it and enjoying it in the way that it's now resonating with men to let them know, listen, these things, it's there. It's not going to go away. You have to take some action on it for it to get better. And once you take the action for it, you will be in a positive space.
Thank you so very much.
And brother, if I can help you in any way, you reach out. Have a great day. Thank you, Claire, for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, and very, very good call. Very, 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 very good points. And he continues to harp on the responsibility of men. And I was making the point earlier on, Claire, that you might see a man coming from work every day and he has to stop by the rum shop and he has to get something to neutralize the effect. Now, that might seem okay if he needs a drink to cope, but that might eventually lead to alcoholism. It leads to abuse at home, whether it's sexual, whether it's physical, whether it's verbal. And so he did not necessarily try to kill himself, but the stress he was going through at work, at home, has led to another disease in alcoholism, led to some counterproductive behavior. And because there is no outlet, there is no conversation, he has to be a man. He's not going to talk to anybody. We find, and that is common. We look around us and we see it. So whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's abuse, you come home and you start beating up on your spouse because that is you feel that
outlet.
needs to be outlet, exactly. Or you're beating up on your children, or you're neglecting them, you're not coming home at all, or you're cheating, or exactly, So we need to have those conversations. We need to, and like I said, I know the ministry has started something which I'm very excited about, and that is one of the directions I'm going to point them toward. That we have to
man up.
But we also have to cater for men.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say men have to man up, because we're asking them to man up, and that is what is creating the problem.
Yes.
But we have to cater for the mental and emotional needs of men.
We have a call. Good morning.
Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Dexter.
Good morning.
Morning.
And most powerful topic, most powerful program once again. Miss Claire, in correction, men manning up is what creates the problem.
I just told her that.
I apologize.
I just told her
Totally.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Men have to be catered to.
Okay.
Yes, always. You can't stop catering to men. I'm not saying that they have to spoil a man. Some people might say, well, or they want to be pampered. It has nothing to do with that. But we also need a listening ear. We need some way of communicating with someone at some time. Sometimes, as Dexter said earlier, somebody might call you, might call somebody at 2 o'clock in the morning, but they're not going to call you and say, boy, listen, I'm in a position, or girl, listen, I'm in a position here, that X, Y, Z. They just want to have a conversation.
Yep.
But it's how much of us would answer that phone at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Or stay on the phone.
First question.
Or stay on the phone.
Or stay on the phone.
Yeah.
Yep. Or stay on the phone. And then what is said to us, how much of us going to keep it confidential?
That's the other issue.
Yep. And that too does create a lot of problem for a lot of people, because they know if they tell it to somebody, they're as good as that person is. They know by the minute they hang up that phone, that conversation is being spread.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
But the main reason I'm calling, Dexter, where exactly are you from? I'm calling from New York.
I'm from Closure.
You're from Closure?
Yeah.
What school you attended? Secondary school?
St. John's Christian Secondary.
All right, so I was right. All right, my brother. You know me, but I will go into all of that. I have you on Facebook. I go link up. I was just trying that, but I know this person.
Okay.
I'm listening since you came on, and I was like, I called Gates, and then Gates would tell me, I know the person. But
Okay.
I'll reach out to you and we'll talk.
All right, no problem, man.
To listen, let someone else call, man. Have a great day, man.
Thanks for reaching out.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Well, when I say man has to man up, let me explain myself, because I think I'm going to take blows for that. Men do not communicate with anybody. You're not communicators.
We're not very good communicators.
That's what I'm talking about, manning up.
I think we should be given the opportunity to, not just, and this the disparity between the sexes. So, if and the caller said, the two callers spoke of confidentiality. So if a man has an issue, you do not want to be ridiculed for shedding a tear, for breaking down, for showing some emotion. And most times as men, we feel that we cannot do that. We are not going to do that, be the girlfriend, the spouse. She's going to call her friend and say, hey, look at the stupid here crying, No, but I don't meant to say it. But I've been playing about it,
Yes.
So sometimes we feel that, the best way to deal with it is to be aggressive.
Dexter, you're saying this, but it's not all of us that's going to do that. You have to have some sort of a sense of maturity, that if you're going through a struggle and you're crying because you're feeling hurt, then why would I call my friend and say, look at Dexter, the stupidity crying here?
But that's generally what happens. So we've been brought up. So it never gets to that point for us where we are going to do it, because we've been brought up thinking that is what is going to happen. We are going to be seen as weak, as being inadequate, being insecure. So we cannot express. So even if we do not get to the extreme of crying. But if we express our feelings and say, look, I really need to tell you this, or I am feeling this way, I'm feeling threatened, I'm feeling insecure, we cannot express those feelings. And I think we need to get to that point where men can. Part of being a man is somebody having feelings. You being able to express your feelings. So I think as a society, we need to allow that. We need to be able to speak. If you're at work, and it's not just the personal relationships, if you're at work and it's not going the way you want it to, and you're feeling uncomfortable, and when you wake up in the morning it's a stress to go into the workplace, you should be able to have a conversation with your superiors and say, this is what I am going through, I'm not feeling comfortable here, this is not working for me, these are the changes that I need to see. But we are expected, as you use the expression, to man up, to toughen up, and just go through it, and sometimes we just cannot do it.
Well, okay, the word man up, let me change the word. It's not man up. It is communicating and saying how you feel.
But the other party, so whether it's your boss, whether it's your spouse, have to be receptive to that communication. They cannot tell you, man, just go and be a man. Like I said before, if I had called somebody, like the person who said to me, Dexter, why didn't you call me? If I had called, the person, Dexter, come on, man.
Go and take a drink and kill that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk in the morning or something, you know.
You see the thing, I know of, the company that I used to work for back in Toronto, they had this where you can call and say, look, I can't make it to work today because I'm going through this. They had people that you can go talk to, give you a couple days to get yourself together and see how you can make it. Now, I'm saying this because social media is out there getting all the things that is bad to put forward. Why is it, can somebody on social media say, you know what, guys, we are guys, we hurt too, we feel too, there's no wrong in crying, and you sisters out there, you need to support us and listen to us when we speak.
Well, I'm for the morning, I'm hearing that challenge that maybe I would have to kind of be part of, a grouping that forms some kind of group. Run. Yeah, some kind of grouping, because it's not just the mental state, the mental health issue.
Caller, we're coming to you.
I think that generally our male population is under threat. We are an endangered species, so to speak. I mean, we had 2 shootings again just this week with 2 males. 2 males lost their lives. You drive around Grenada on any given day, and it's shocking and scary to see the amount of young men who are just on the block smoking and drinking, gambling. There's a major gambling problem in Grenada right now among our younger population. And we're talking about teenagers, 13 and 14 and 15 year olds. So I think men have to be engaging and engaged so that that next generation, because we're basically saying to them that we've given up on you as young men. That if you cannot cope, and if you don't have the strength to do it on your own, then you're on your own. Yeah. Exactly. And your own becomes appealing to you based on what your peers are doing. There's no recourse, no place to turn to. It's not going to be the church, it's not going to be the community center. There's no men's group. So the men's group exists. Just happens to be those who are smoking marijuana and drinking on the block.
We have a call. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, CJ, and good morning, Dexter.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, I had to call in. There was some miraculous way I switched on this morning, and this is, I'm hearing that. I'm so pleased to hear that. Dexter, I think you should make out the voice by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to chime in too, because this is something I've been trying to do. Me and Dexter is actually classmates, graduated together and stuff like that. And we have been there for each other. And I myself, CJ, you should, if you look at your voice yet, it's bellow.
Oh, okay. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm all right, thanks. And I'm happy that, Dexter, you take that opportunity to come forward. Because what is happening now and the trend that I'm seeing is very appealing and very timely. And it's not only, as I say, mental health, because it also encompasses the addictions also. Because, as you said, once you have problems and you're into something and you cannot fix it, you think you can't fix it, you're giving up hope, you will look for all kind of different ways to try to make yourself fit in or feel comforted, and this is something that we really, really have to push. I myself, as you know, had went through that. And again, as I said, people may not know, it's a simple matter of where my dad had said to me, I was doing so well in Form 5 that time, and that he will take me out. And, you know, being a young person around that time, and probably even now, you know, it's so dumb that, you know, I just refused to go to class and all kind of thing. And then after when the results come out, it's not something that I had expected. And in myself, because I think what it is, most humans and strong humans like us, is that we think we can fix everything for ourselves, you know, and we didn't have a culture of counseling, you know, where it is okay to just go to someone and let them listen to you. You know, and so we have to try to let people know that it's okay. You know, it's not a matter of course, you don't go to any and anybody. You choose, you know, special people that you know that would withhold what you say and stuff like that, because that, again, is another problem in Grenada, you know, speaking in private, you know. But I'm saying that to say, and that's the reason why I end up in alcoholism, you know, and just drinking because, you know, I just wanted to forget my issues. You know, I just wanted to forget my issues at the time. So you go and drink, you're drunk, and they drop you home, or you go home drunk, and you get up in the morning, and you're ashamed. You only get up in the morning, or you come back to natural, you're kind of ashamed. You know, so you're walking down the road in a way like, hey, if anybody go tell you something, and once anybody will tell you something or something like that, or you reach your friends again, you go back into it and you forget it. You know, so we have to do much more than that, and it's just simply like that, how you could just, you know, go away from who you are. You know, thank God that I keep praying, and I had people in Sotez, my family, and other people like Dexter and other persons who know me when they see me. And I had a good co-worker, like a big brother for me, Martin de Labastide in Brighton Miners. He never kind of shun me out, you know. He would just talk to me in a nice way, in a brotherly way, and say, boss, you know, you have to find that part in your life, find that part in your mind where you can stand up strong against that. You know, and thank God today that after a time that echoed a sentiment in the back of my head, and I took that decision. You know, I took that decision, and today, well, next month would be 26 years since I gave up alcohol.
Congratulations, you did well.
And then you see, when people talk, like even when, you know, in election time, you know, some people trying to use things to throw out, you know, and talk like, come back with those things, and that's a problem we have. Somebody, you know, it's something like what Boyce said in his song, and I really relate to it. You know, people want you to do good, but you must not do better than them. You know, and we have to shun away from that, and we have to help and use people as example. And Dexter, I'm glad you said that you're going to try to make an effort to go forward and try to do some of those things. I am also willing. Pastor Simon had called me one time, and I did an interview. He told me he did a tremendous job, but I think we continue to do, because what we are seeing now, especially with these young people, trust me, I mean, there is really no hope, because there is no support in the community as before. And CJ also know that. CJ was one of my guidance. When we grow in a community and neighborhood, you know, they are there. You are everybody's child. Yes. So, and you respect everybody. So even if they tell you something, you don't like it, but you would not front or anything. You would accept it, and sometimes, you know, you deliberate on it. And that is helpful. So I don't want to say too long, but I applaud you, Dexter. Right? And that, I think even that, when that make me and you a better person today, because not only what we achieve and go on achieving, but also it put us in a position to try to help others. When we see it, we can reach out. And I think that's the way to go.
Stay on the line for a minute. Stay on the line for a minute. I've got a question for you and Dexter together.
Yeah.
Now, we talk about confidentiality that we do not have in Grenada. Now, if you're trying to be better at who you are or what you've been trying to get over it, and you say to someone and they go order it, would you let that make a difference to you? Because it's all about you and not them?
I would go first and say, yeah, it makes a difference.
Okay.
And I'm going to use a very practical example. Just after my attempt, and when I came out of the hospital, I had an ex-girlfriend reach out to me and say, you know, I'm here for you, Dexter. If you need anything, you need somebody to talk to. And that is somebody I had done a lot for. And she had lost her dad. Her dad had died, so I was there during that whole period. So I thought she was being very genuine. Okay, I was there for you, so you know, trying to reach out to me. So yeah, we did have a conversation, and I told her what I thought caused it and what I might be going through and so on. And as soon as I was finished telling her, she went and told her friend who knew the person I was talking about. So that went, I mean, and that was the, I mean, to me, that was the worst thing that could have happened coming out of the hospital. And that just caused me to just close up. Like, I had like family members, reach out to me and said, saying, we need to talk. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to talk to anybody else. I need to really work on myself. So, confidentiality makes a big difference because it brings back on the stress over and over. You have to relive this thing over and over. And what happens is that people don't see or don't care what you are going through. All they see is that you said this about me or you are going through this. I'm going to use it to my advantage.
Okay. How about you, Victor?
Yes, Dexter is right with that. There is a time you have to. There is a time when you can face that, and what at the beginning stage you do not have the strength, and that's why you're in that problem. You understand? So you are looking here, but as I said, one of the biggest things is sharing. And when you share, the person don't have to give you no advice or anything. You just need a vent because it's what is building up inside you. It's a whole heap of thing that like you tie up inside you and you're gonna explode. But you need a vent. You need to just say it out, and not only by saying it out too, that person probably have ways where he can help you, or not even with you telling you, helping you, but probably guide you to do certain things that will help you vent also, especially people who are qualified, So there is, as Dr. said, there is a thing where you don't want that to go out there. You're talking about now, me and Dexter, you can say what you want.
Gotcha.
People could say what they want, and I don't respond to them because I reach that strength in my mind and my soul. Yes, exactly. Where that don't shake me again. As a matter of fact, when I encourage people to tell me that, you know what you do? You remind me of where I don't want to go back.
Yes. Right.
You understand? Yes. So when people say that from time to time, it's a part of my therapy. It's a part of my therapy reminding me, Bello, you shouldn't go back there. Because so yes, there is a time where confidentiality is important. So your first step, you have to have confidentiality. Okay. And that's what it is.
Thank you so very much.
That's very true. And I think one of the things that happened to, like Victor said, eventually you get the strength. So for me now, I mean, the worst thing
say whatever they want.
Yeah, the worst thing that could have happened to me is me trying to kill myself. Nobody could do anything to me that is worse than that.
Exactly.
And you will say what you want. I judge people now based on the actions. Your words don't matter to me. And being in the public domain, you hear so many things. And let me tell you this clear. I was hospitalized for 11 days. So obviously my mom came in from the States, my sister, my niece, and we had this kind of running joke under the circumstances. Every day they came to see me, there was a different rumor as to why I tried to kill myself. So we cut off at 17. In 11 days, there were 17 different reasons why I tried to kill myself. So after a while, you just kind of get numb to it. As recently as last week, somebody was telling me about a conversation they was having about somebody about me, and the person is telling them they don't think I believe in God. And I was like, you don't even know me.
Don't know you.
So those things don't matter anymore. After a while, you kind of get numb to it. But let me just say this on the heels of Victor's call. The admiration I have for him, and he alluded to.
Yes, for you also.
Thanks. He's alcohol free for 26 years, and I was very taken aback by some of the things that was said to him when he threw his hat in the political ring, accusing him of going back and drinking rum and so on. And it goes back to the other two callers, the same thing that we said, the abuse and so on. Now, it is okay, and I think that is one, apart from social media, politics has created this huge wedge and divide where we have lost respect for each other in Grenada. We are not free any longer to support who we want to. You cannot make a determination who I want to support politically. That has nothing to do with you. And you might not agree with my decision, but you have to respect it. I have been accused of being on a particular side because I was helping Victor as a friend. Victor is my friend. Nobody is going to get between that. Absolutely nobody. And my class, my graduating class of 1986 that went to SJCSS, we don't always communicate, but we are going to look out for each other. Victor was one of the persons when I used to come back to Grenada on vacation, because of what he was going through, is one of the persons I used to personally go see. And at that time, you had to take the bus to come to Sotes, and by 5 o'clock, you had to get a bus to leave because, but I made it a point of coming to look for him. So nobody's going to tell me because of politics that I cannot support my friend, I cannot have a conversation with my friend, I cannot counsel my friend. And I think we need to get over ourselves, and that is part of the problem. So imagine if Victor was not as strong as he was, what could have happened to him.
Yep.
Here you go accusing him of being a womanizer, of being abusing alcohol because his political opinion is different from yours. We have to do better as a society.
We have to stop this.
And the people, I mean, there's one particular gentleman, and I'm going to address him personally one of these days. As a man, you cannot do that and expect people to respect you, expect to say that we are living in a free democratic society and we're enjoying all the benefits. No, you're acting as though we live in North Korea, that this gentleman does not have a right to pursue a political career. And that contributes to the problem, that this saying whatever we want and putting it out on social media. So it's no longer just by the rum shop.
No, it's everywhere.
Where 20 people might hear it. It's on social media where 20,000 people are exposed to it. And as a society, especially men, I made a post recently. To me, the 11th commandment is men should not gossip. So
then they're worse than us,
Exactly.
Let me tell you.
So as much as we are expected to be strong and so on, gossiping cannot be our outlet. Let us form the groups. Let us come together and have conversation as men to address the things that are bothering us.
No, the group can start with two.
You
and Victor take the baton
exactly.
and go with it.
Yeah,
you have another caller that called earlier and talked about it. He said if you need him anytime, he's there. That could be a silent partner. You said something earlier that kind of bothered me, in the sense that when your people see you talking, like if they see you and me talking, somebody's going to come and say to me, oh, be careful with Dexter because he almost killed himself. It's like they're saying that if I talk to you, you're going to murder me.
It is done maliciously. It is not.
That's what I'm
saying. Is not done. So the time it happened when I was talking to the young lady, I guess it might have been somebody who was interested in her. I thought, okay, if Dexter is talking to her, I don't have a chance. I know I interviewed for a job once and to go back into Carnival, and based on everything I heard, on how the interview went, I was supposed to get a job, and the excuse came up, hey, we can't hire Dexter. Dexter is a man who can't take pressure. You go try to kill yourself. So everything is done maliciously. So that's why, like Victor said, you don't pay attention to the words anymore because you know it is coming from. It is not coming from a place of concern. Like if you have an issue with me as to my competency professionally and my work, then let us deal with that, and I could deal with you on that. But when you just throw those things, and especially
people that you know,
and then if you claim, you're pretending to say it because you care about me, but then you throw in something that is negative from my past against me. So like I've just like Victor, I've gotten to the point where those things don't matter. In fact, I'm surprised when it does not come up. I'm more expected than not expected, So, and I kind of try to remove myself from those situations now and just talk about the positives so that I can help somebody. The callers who called and the lady, in fact, I'm most impressed by, probably people would relate to her more than even me. That yes, I thought about it when I went through what I was going through. I've had those thoughts. This is what I wanted to do, but I trusted in my God, and look where I'm at right now. And I think that is the message we want. So I don't want to deal too much on the negative people and give them too much time.
Don't give them no time of your day. Don't run space in your head for that at all.
Exactly. Let us
we
focus
have a call
on helping people.
Yes. Good morning.
Claire, 3 times. That's unheard of for me on your program.
You strike out.
You so many times. What I'm sold up in this program right now. And I'm glad and I'm happy of the twist that it took, where we're looking at men and how we behave amongst each other. Claire, I sent you some information on men. Dexter, if you don't know, there is some studies out there talking about men and the effects of the different things that we use, the products that we use to groom ourselves, what we eat and stuff, is having a detrimental effect on us as men, meaning that is messing with our hormones in our system. It's happening to women too, but it's more pronounced in men for the obvious reasons you could probably understand.
Yeah.
And as the man gets older, it becomes more and more pronounced, and that in itself have a profound psychological effect.
Yep.
I mean, we tend to push. When I use the word, you will understand. When we talk about sex, we kind of push it into a direction that is inappropriate. That's the best word I can use for it, inappropriate. However, we are human beings and we are sexual beings, regardless of what anybody says. Yeah, that's what we are. We cannot. Nature is nature, and we cannot get away from it. That's what we are. That's who we are. Now, when you start having these things affecting you, and you don't know why, and you don't go to the doctor, that's another men's issue again, Claire.
Yes.
That you need to talk about.
But without cutting off caller, also when you think the problem belongs to you only. So if there is the men's group, if there's an ongoing conversation and I'm talking to you and you could say, yeah, but you know what, I'm kind of going through the same thing. But you feel this is my problem. Why is this happening to me at this stage in my life?
Exactly.
Exactly. Speak, I'm listening.
So when we some of the simple things you would not even give a second thought to, Dexter. Your roll-on, your shaving cream, this cream you put on your skin. These things have an effect on your hormone levels in your body.
Yep.
And it wreaks havoc with it. Yeah? And then the women on the other hand ask the same thing. Yeah? The testosterone levels lift up to a rate that they start to behave like a man in the relationship. If you understand whatever, they're aggressive. It is, when I first heard it, I said, this is a joke. So I started delving into it a little bit further, and there is clinical proof of these things happening. So all of that is to say, when we as men take the time to get into ourselves, to reflect on ourselves and start having honest and uncomfortable conversations, we discover we very much have a lot in common than uncommon.
Exactly.
Yeah? And I think that will be a starting point where we would stop trying to bash each other to the point where that person is down to the point where he's willing and thinking about removing himself from society and become a recluse, don't care to go to work anymore, don't care to bathe, blah, 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 and spirals into something that we all call a vagrant, correct?
Yes.
So when I sit back and look at it, I'm saying this is so much needed now on so many different levels. I remember growing up as a youth, I had Boy Scouts. I learned to sail being a Boy Scout. I learned to cook being a Boy Scout. I learned to start a fire without a match being a Boy Scout. Yeah? I learned how to make a tent or shelter without having any sorts of material around me. All you had was a penknife, and you had to build a shelter. You had so long to complete that. These type of things. Have you heard of Boy Scouts? Have you heard about Scouts in Grenada at all? Have you heard about, the 4-H groups and all these different things? The only group I'm seeing where a lot of youth is the Young Rangers with the
cadets.
Cadets, yeah.
The cadets, yes, the cadets. That's just recently restarted, yeah. But how many people have some of these youths that I'm seeing on the street and behaving the way they're behaving? Listen to me. I wish the government would put something in place where it becomes like a boot camp. You go to that camp, there's counselors, physical educators, education in terms of the maths, English, those type of things, academically. But there's what I see, these kids don't have any discipline. You're up at 5, you do your calisthenics, you have breakfast classes, whatever it is. And with the psychologist being on board can now guide you to do something that you are good at, naturally,
but
as opposed to being forced into something.
But we also have to start it at the school level now, too.
Exactly.
Because how we grew up, I'm now into my 50s, how we grew up is completely different from what exists right now. We have so many young ladies who are kids themselves having kids and are expected to take on this huge responsibility.
Well, that's a whole different topic.
Of the life of another human being. So I think the process starts in school. You mentioned, for example, the clubs. Part of my upbringing was on any given Sunday, I would go to 4 different churches just because they were there. And it was an opportunity for my grandparents to keep me in line. There was a Methodist preacher, pastor, Teacher Garnett from Mount Morris, and he would ride his bike up to Clogier and spend the entire day in the village, conduct the church service, but still probably went to one of the houses and have lunch and walked around the village and spoke to kids. Parents wanted him to come in and speak to the kids who were having issues. So he was, in effect, also a village counselor. We don't have those things anymore. Like I said, the pastors and the priests passing the big SUVs, they expect you to come to the church buildings and they don't go to see you anymore. So I think you're talking about the boot camp. That is one quick fix for what is happening right now because it is scary to see the young men on the blocks. But I think we need some programs in school. The counselors, every school, you mentioned it should have a mandatory counselor. And I think people like yourself and me and Victor coming out of this conversation, we need to have a serious conversation of how we can form something that, even if it is one of us going to a school on a given day, to have a word with the young male or teacher, a teacher recognizing that there's this group that needs some attention and so on. But we have to start something. Otherwise, we are going to be living in cages. We are going to have to put burglar bars and everything, maybe even our car windows, because of where we're headed right now.
Sure.
Said regarding to the I don't want to say the religion, because religion brings up a whole nother set of conversation. The spiritual leaders that it's in our society, they're so concerned with the brick and mortar, they don't understand the wider church as it exists, which is the society in itself. For me, in my quest, right, in the church that I attended, for 3 months, I chased down the men's group that never ever manifested itself, ever. They're supposed to meet every second Monday. Went there religiously every second Monday. Never saw that group, ever, for 3 months. And to be honest with you, I gave up on them, and I gave up the institution they called the church. Seriously. And this is all to say, like you, when I grew up, there were policemen, doctors, and stuff who actually interacted with the people in the society, meaning that we would be sitting under the tambourine tree, and he would come and sit, and he would listen to the conversation, and he would interject and say, "No, what you're speaking about there is incorrect. It's wrong. You shouldn't be thinking that way. Here's a better example." Yeah, all of these things comes out to show that this had a sense of community, and the proverbs where the African says it takes a village to raise a child. It's so prevalent and it's needed right now. It is unbelievable, and this is my last time I'm going to call back.
You think so? You sure?
No, but we are going to start something. I really like the direction you headed.
Please do.
And of course Victor and his public profile, and I'm sure there are others. Once we reach out to them who are willing to work, I know there are some people who have reached out to me. But we have to do something. We have to really look after our young men in our society. I do not want to leave this out and not make a viable contribution in that regard. I mean, the advocacy and speaking out and so on is one thing, but being able to actually
a tangible item.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll
I
definitely be in
totally
touch.
agree with you. And like I said, Claire knows my number. She can easily pass it on to you.
Yes, sure.
I'm willing to volunteer my time to assist. Like I said, I've been looking for it and it's just not there. I've been speaking to it. I've even spoken to a therapist about volunteering the time. And to go as far, my daughter graduated from York University in psychology, and she's always talking about, "Dad, why are you not doing something about it?" I said, "Well, I just haven't found the vessel yet to execute it, but it's a passion of mine." And when I see it, it just drives me mad. Like, why is it not happening?
I have a sister who's just finishing up a PhD in clinical psychology also, and she's already volunteered, to come back. She's an ex-Marine, so we always challenge each other whenever she's here. We go run in the hills and so on.
Boot camp.
But she wants to do some work in that regard. Like I said, our father died from suicide, so that might have driven her for that particular career. So, but she wants to give back. She's adamant she wants to go visit the prison when she's back, and speak to people.
Like your sister, she has her father for. My daughter is her brother.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Is her catalyst
okay.
for doing what she does. Making that career choice.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's very close to me when I hear it and see it.
Okay.
So, my friends, have a great day.
Thank you so very much for your contribution.
We'll definitely be in touch.
Always. Thank you. So, that's it. Somebody, you know who she is, Miss Marlene Ferguson, send a message to you. She said, "Dexter, keep the faith. Trust God, He will see you through. Let not negatives be part of your breakthrough." She's always listening.
Okay.
She's always coming, and this is from her to you. So
okay,
keep the faith.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I'm like I said.
I think we have another call. Let's
see.
Good morning.
Good morning, CJ.
Good morning.
And how are you this morning?
I am good, thank you.
I'm sorry to be late. I guess I missed out a lot on the program.
Mm-hmm.
But little what I gather As usual, you always run a very interesting program.
Thank you.
And to your guest, Dexter, good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you on the program.
Thank you.
You know where you have been. You know what you went through. You know where you are at now. What I can just say to you, keep a steady head. Keep doing what you're doing positively. And whatever you can do to help save a life from going down the road that you have to walk, my brother, go ahead and do it. There are people outside there who would be willing to help you, willing to go along with you. And if, when you get your thing going, you want to tap into me to maybe help assist, honestly, I am willing to do that.
Excellent.
Because we are losing too much of our young people. And as adults, we're not showing them that we care about them. And I applaud you for coming forward, knowing what you've been through. I knew your father, knowing what you've been through, and you have taken that initiative to ensure that maybe at least, and I put it at least, one person don't go down that road that you were going. My brother, God bless you. God bless you, and he will see you through. Whatever you endeavor to do, I think he would brighten your path along that way. Keep the faith.
Thank you.
Keep the faith. Don't give up. Don't give up. You've come too far to turn back now. Don't give up. Have a blessed day, brother.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Got me a bit
let me tell
emotional.
you something. You wink in your eyes, I wink in mine. But your people have to stop making us cry here. But it is true. You know, you have three of you on board right now. Caller there is willing to step in. If anything you can find me to do, even though to write up a thing to invite people, I can, because it is something that is needed right here in our small island. I've been to a doctor a few months ago, and she said to me, she says, Claire, we are losing all our young men.
Yep.
She says, when you go to women, something happens, everybody fly by the doctor. But our men are staying behind, not doing anything about their health, and in the 23rd hour they go to the hospital, they die. We are losing our young men. So with the three of you taking on, you have the baton and you're going with it, you, Bello, and our mysterious caller,
Yes.
you know who he is, I'll give you his number. Start something.
Yeah,
We need to save the men in our country. There's so many young men that are very intelligent. Academia is not all that it is there to make a man succeed. There are things that they can do with their hands. But because they have no encouragement and they have nobody pouring them on, they're just on the block, as you say, the club of marijuana, the club of drugs. And when you take the time to go and speak to some of the young men and they tell you what it is that they really want to do, you have no choice but to help.
Of course. And those conversations are very simple because you're dealing with real human beings with real feelings.
Yes.
So you might think, if you approach them, it's going to be aggressive and so on, and it's not going to be. But yeah, we are going to do something, and I'm thank you very much, CJ, for that platform, for providing me the opportunity, because the advocacy is one, talking and getting the story out and using my life as an example is one. But now we have the opportunity coming out of this morning's program to do something very tangible. And apart from the conversation and probably saving a life, but we have the opportunity now to turn around lives, I think, which is even more important.
Yes.
And that turning around of one life might turn around other lives, make somebody a bit more productive and they can provide for the family and so on. And we have too many examples. We are in a country where some of the top athletes in the world belong to Grenada, the Kiriani James, the Anderson Peters, the Lyndon Victor. So it's not like we don't have the talent. We have not lost all hope. Andrew Fletcher in cricket, Afi Fletcher as a female cricketer. But we as society, we who know better should be doing better. And if I have to lead that charge, I accept that responsibility.
I'm giving you the responsibility to lead that charge.
Yes.
Honestly, we have it's 7 minutes to 10. We finish at 10.
Sure.
But You already said what it is that you have to say about what you go through and things. I need you for the next, give me 3 minutes. Speak to the young men in our community. Let them know what is not right for them to, where they can take their life in a better direction.
Just look at the examples around you and listen to people. So you look at me and what I've been through. Look at Victor and what he's been through. It was not always rosy for him.
Take your time, it's okay.
We had excuses too. Growing up, it wasn't easy. Growing up in Clocher was really, really tough. I know Victor had it tough. I mean, imagine going to Shipper School from Sotez. And I could mention somebody else and who's going to be supportive of this initiative. I'm committing him to it already. Dr. Francis Martin, former PS in the Ministry of Health, former Chief Medical Officer. He had a tough go at it also. Imagine having to walk from Granroy to Guav and then from Guav up to Shipper School. And that did not deter us. So whatever little challenge you might have right now, because you don't have support from home, you don't have bus money, or you don't have money for lunch and so on. Those things are negligible in the big scheme of things. I mean, if you reach out for help, there are much more programs now. Excuse me, I remember going to Shipper School, just going to visit the school one day and seeing this young man at lunchtime standing by himself. And I went to him and asked, what was the problem? And he said that he didn't have lunch money. Mommy had to make a decision between paying the bus or feeding him. So I was able to get the school to start up, get in touch with the Ministry of Education and start up the school feeding program and get people from around, brothers area to provide and so on. So there's always a way. There's always going to be support. So I know the easy thing, especially for the young men, is to give up. It's more attractive going on the blocks and hanging out and smoking and so on. But just think about the future. Think about where that is going to either land you in jail or in vagrancy at some point. There's no future in that. Nobody ever told you that I went down that path and I'm successful. Look at the big house I built out of this, or police is not. And it gets difficult. If you do not lay the proper foundation, it gets extremely difficult. So whatever Victor went through, if he did not have the proper upbringing through the school system, through his parents, it might have gotten worse for him. So he was able to turn things around because of that solid upbringing. My mental strength came from eventually going back and looking at where I came from. My visits to Clocher was very important, going back up to Shipper School and assisting because of that foundation. So if you want to be something in society, if you do not want to become another statistic, now is the time for, especially for the young men, now is the time to build a foundation. Now is the time to set something solid that will take care of you for the rest of your life. If you want to have kids, if you want to be meaningful to your family, to your parents and so on, and whatever is affecting you as young men, find that outlet, find somebody that you can speak with, be it a former teacher, you want to speak to the pastor, you want to speak to a parent, you want to speak to somebody older, somebody in the public domain, come up to me, go to Victor's, Andre, and just let them know what you're going through. And I think we understand. We've been through it, so the issue of confidentiality is not going to be an issue for us. I think we're here to help as much as possible. But find someone that you can confide in, someone you can speak with. There's no shame in that, because the alternative is really not worth it. So to the young men, we are going to be coming at you. We are going to reach out to you. But generally for people, just you have to trust God, and you have to believe in you. There are going to be challenges. That is life. I mean, I got to a point where I got scared of the challenges of life. I got scared of life and wanted to end it. But you have to be able to figure out your coping mechanisms, whether it's reading a book, as Claire does, writing, exercising, driving. Enjoy the things that you like doing. Enjoy the foods that you like eating. That is all part of your mental state, drinking the things that you like drinking, once it's healthy and not going to do any damage to you. But try to enjoy life as much as possible. When you wake up in the morning, you must pray and thank God for giving you another opportunity. Don't take it for granted. Think about the other people who did not wake up, or who wish they had another opportunity to wake up, and accept life. I think that was one of the things I had to do. Accept that life comes with challenges. The people who know me professionally know that I work extremely hard, and so I get frustrated when things are not perfect, because I'm working hard to make everything perfect. So I always question, why something has to go wrong. But I've learned now to cope and understand that it doesn't matter how perfectly you set something up, there is going to be a challenge,
Yes.
and you have to learn to cope and accept those challenges and understand sometimes God yourself has a sense of humor too. He's going to challenge you. He's going to see how serious you are, how much you want it, The last thing I'm going to say is, and that came from Sir Paul Skun, late Sir Paul Skun, former Governor General, who's related to us. When he came to visit me at the hospital, he kind of chided me. He was like, young man, what is wrong with you? Get out of that bed. And then we had a conversation, just him and I, and he was asking, what is the plan moving on? Excuse me, once I come out of the hospital. And at that time, all my relatives were obviously that Dexter, you cannot stay in Grenada. What are people going to think of you? You're not going to be in the public domain again. So there were plans, or at least discussions about migrating to England, going back to the States, going to Trinidad, going to Canada. And he told me, he said, that makes no sense because you cannot run away from you. It doesn't matter where you go, you still have to deal with what is happening mentally, that you cannot run away from yourself. So my challenge to people who are going through what you're going through is to deal with you. Alcohol and drugs and beating up on somebody is not going to solve the problem for you. What it is doing is making the problem worse or giving you another burden, saddling you with another burden. So find the coping mechanisms, find people you can speak with, be honest with yourselves. Say, yes, I have a problem. Yes, my coworkers are stressing me. Yes, my boss is stressing me. Yes, I have to do something about this situation. Yes, the finances are tough. Yes, I need to speak to somebody about it. Yes, the studies are tough. I need to find somebody who can help me, who's been in that position before or worse, and who can talk me out of doing something that I might regret later on.
So we have messages here, friend. I got to read them. I know the news is coming, but okay, I'm about to break the law now. Marilyn Ferguson says, all the Shipwrights are standing by you. Dr. Dubois, are you there? She's calling out that Dr. Dubois to come.
Yeah.
Now, Jocelyn Matheson said, Dexter, God is on your side. Now you have great understanding. Please, you can be a great advocate for others who is going through this problem.
That's a plan.
Yes. Justin Noel says, Dexter, I can understand under circumstances how emotional this can be for you, but the role you are now playing will help save the lives of many. Marilyn says, the first step is acknowledging you have a problem, facing it head on, and seek help.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I had to read this. I'd like to say thank you for taking the time to come to talk to us this morning on mental health and suicide. It is Suicide Awareness Month, which is September, but we don't want this to be just a one-month thing.
No.
We want to continue doing what we can to make the lives of others better, to save lives. And I always say, if it's half a person I help doing this program, I'm feeling good about myself.
Yep.
Today, I think you have helped thousands.
Hopefully.
Even though they're not calling, they are listening. You've seen the response. You've heard the calls. You heard my mysterious caller, what he had to say. It is making a difference in the lives of people. Continue to do that, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you to the callers, the listeners, the viewers. Thank you very much, Claire, and to the team at Real FM for allowing us this opportunity.
And anytime you feel the need to come and speak to us, just make a phone call and one way I'll have you.
Thank you.
Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.
This is the latest news update as per